The 2025 College Fantasy Football Kings Classic Draft is live. John, this is year number 5. It's going to be the best one yet. We have a stacked lineup of college fantasy football analysts, the best in the industry, representing the best sites in the industry. This is going to be a really awesome draft.
Matt, I can't believe it. We're in our 5th year already drafting from the Kings Classic draft at the Fantasy Football Expo. This year, we're in the Doubletree Inn, which is downtown Canton, Ohio. It's just beautiful in here. We're in a room. I got 6 other drafters with me live. We have some of the drafters are at home for, family, children, all the other stuff that we have in life, but it's great to be with 6 people live. Everyone who's watching today, we are collecting funds for St. Jude's Classic. If you go to my Twitter feed, Gridiron Skull 91, and I think Matt has posted
it in the comments.
He put it in the comments. Please, anywhere from $5 to $10. You have about 36 hours left to donate. We'd appreciate that for all that we've done, Matt and I. It's great to give to children and families battling cancer, so we appreciate that. And I want to give a shout out to my nephews, Vince and JT, who are hopefully watching. I know they're at the age where they like to sleep in a little bit late. You get a certain age in life and you sleep in more on Saturdays, but I hope they're listening. I just wanted to say hi to JT and Vince. And we are are we literally like 2 minutes to kick off here?
Yeah, we're going to get drafted here. The draft kicks off officially at 10 o'clock, I believe, on the dot here. But we are live. We have a ton of folks joining us already. I love to do it in the morning here. Give us a check-in. I know we have folks that wake up real early on the West Coast, on the East Coast. Drop us a comment. Let us know where you are joining us from. We absolutely love to see it here. And we have a loaded lineup of analysts. I'm going to show John. Once we get started in a few minutes here, we're going to show the live draft as we go, pick by pick. We're going to break down all of them as we're coming through here. It's going to be a really good time, but we need to share. We love sharing the comments. We love to make this an interactive experience because it's great to watch back later, John, but it's even better for everyone who's joining us live.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I love live drafts. I'm sure everyone who's watching loves live drafts. Obviously, there's thousands of NFL live drafts and Underdog, but in the college fantasy football space, there's about 6 or 7 people doing great live drafts. We're 2 weeks away now from week 0 kickoff. Now, for those who haven't played college fantasy football, most leagues don't count week 0. So even though the college fantasy football season is kicked off, there's still 1 week remaining to draft. So don't think that it's just 2 weeks left to draft. There's all types of Underdog drafts. You can go to Fantrax and draft a league there, a redraft league. There's tons of opportunities. And, with 2 weeks left, everyone's solidifying their player values. And, we know just like NFL, the player values change quickly. So this is a 2-week draft with 14 of the best experts in the field to tell you what the value of the players are right now.
Yeah, and we have check-ins here from Rochester, New York. We got Madison, Wisconsin. So we're already getting all over the country here. Let us know where you're checking in from in the comments. I want to point out, John, as we go through, we're going to be providing insight and analysis as well. We're not just moderating a draft here. That's what's really fun about it. And as we bring on each expert analyst here who's taking part of this draft, they're going to come on. They're going to share their strategy. They're going to share their favorite picks for this upcoming season. So as much as it's fun to watch a draft here, we're also making sure that we are giving a real nice depth of analysis across the game here. That being said, put questions in the comments. We love answering those as we go. You see somebody who's picked really high? Let us know. Be like, what are you doing, John, taking this guy at 101? Along those lines, right? Let us know as we go through the draft. That's what makes it fun for us. And we have a check-in here from Alabama as well.
Ooh, Alabama.
So we are covering ground nicely here.
So what do we got? Wisconsin, Alabama, New Jersey so far? Yeah, come on, keep posting where you're from, everyone.
And we even got a shout out for the Vols jersey. So yeah, a little bit of a tradition. We like to wear the jerseys. So John, looks like you got your UConn jersey on.
I do. I finally got a UConn jersey, so I got that one on today.
We got Kansas in the house. Kenny
Kansas in
from
the house.
Kansas.
That's great.
That is fantastic here. And of course, go Vols. We got Tommy who'll be joining us from
Hello,
Knoxville.
Tommy. He's joining us. He was here, what, 2 years, I think, in a row?
Absolutely.
But he had to stay at home for, I think he's going to a wedding or something like that. He said he's doing something cool.
All right.
So he's at home.
We are 1 minute away, John. So I want to go through. I'm going to pull up the draft board for us here, and I want to talk through the order. This was completely randomized. We promised completely randomized. John has the 101. I have the 102. I always draft at the end, folks. Go look back at history. I've never drafted this high, so I got a little bit of luck in that sense. Steve from RotoWire is going to be third. Shane Hallam from Draft Sharks is coming in at 4. Chris from Fantasy and Frames is picking 105. Jared from the Natty Chasers and Campus to Canton at 106. Jared from CFF guys here at 107.
That's
Tom,
Josh.
Josh. Yeah, I wanted to say Jared, then I got mixed up. Fantasy points. Tom, who aforementioned here, he's drafting at 108. Mike Bainbridge from CFF site at 109. Dwight from Campus to Canton at 110. Eric Froton from NBC Sports at 111. We have Jeremy from CFF list at 112. Joe from Purple Rain at 113. And JD is going to be at our turn here at 114. John, you're going to be up here in about 15 seconds. We talked a little bit on a previous Rookie Big Board show about what your strategy might be for today's show. Are you gonna go wild here? Or are you gonna lay up and give us a little chalk to get going?
I really thought heavily the last 48 hours about going wild here, but I came to the conclusion that the best thing for our viewers is to draft, as this is my only league. This is actually my 14th draft. So I have had the number 1 pick a couple times, so I didn't want to too often dip into the same player, but I decided for our viewers, I do think Desmond Reed is the number 1 guy available in college fantasy football. I understand if you're in super flex or maybe in a big tournament, you might want to go a different way, but I decided here to go a little bit chalk and go with Desmond Reed of Pittsburgh at running back, especially in a PPR. For those who don't know, this is a PPR league. So pass catcher and running backs have more value, and all touchdowns, passing, running, and receiving are 6 points. So that gives a little to the passing quarterbacks, the Mike Leach rule, we like to call it. It gives those who are not runners, but they're going to throw 44 touchdowns or more a year, gives them a little bit more value in this format.
All right, and I'm going to go ahead. I am going to go wide receiver here.
Ooh!
I've gotten plenty of the top 3 running backs drafting in the mid to late. This is my one shot, it seems, this year to get some exposure to Jeremiah Smith. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take him at 102. So we've got some mixed strategy already. But Steve kind of going back to that top tier of running back. We've talked about him a lot with Bryson Washington here coming off the board, John, at 103.
I love Bryson Washington, and I yearn for the days when I could get him in the second round in March. Now he's like a top 7 pick in every draft.
About it.
He was a steal back in March, but man, I love Bryson Washington.
All right, and we have Jordan Tyson coming off the board, 104 here. Darius Taylor, Dylan Edwards at 106.
Woo!
That might be the first one that's a little bit above consensus chalk there.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely people who love Dylan Edwards. His upside as a pass catcher, the explosive back coming from Colorado into Kansas State. You know, I'm not as high as consensus on him, but I think in a PPR format, looking at the running back position, he's worth it there.
All right, and you can see the ADP queue here up on the screen as well. We have Hankerson and Henderson. The running back run has begun. Is this reflecting what you're seeing in your draft so far, John? We're sitting on the quarterback position, even given the format.
Oh, absolutely, especially in redraft leagues. This isn't a large tournament, right? You're not competing against 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 other people. You're competing against 13 other people, and obviously in redraft leagues and CFF, the running backs are wildly going off the board in the first round. So look at that. What do we have already? We have 9 picks, seven running backs the first 10. So you see it. So who do we get? We had Hankerson Henderson, Claiborne. Oh, and we just had Jeremiah from Mr. Froton. Oh, we have the Netherlands representing here.
Garrett from the
So we are now
Netherlands.
officially international.
We absolutely love to see it here. I know I have heard Froton talk on the college fantasy football show from College Fantasy Points about his Jeremiah love. So that didn't Jeremiah love. So that certainly didn't surprise me. But I still think probably a little bit above ADP there, followed quickly by Isaac Brown. Eric McAllister is Joe's first pick. Maybe he's just sticking with that purple theme here. And JD is ready to come up on that first turn. So we're moving with a pretty nice pace here this morning.
Oh, we have Yonkers. All right. I would assume that's Yonkers, New York. Hello, Dan. Thanks for joining us this morning. Now, I'll say I have not seen a lot of Eric McAllister in the first round, but that's very interesting. I do love him, especially in that TCU, Matt. You know, I'm a big Josh Hoover guy. So obviously, if Josh Hoover is going to be good, Eric McAllister will be very good. It'll be interesting to see if Joe kind of double taps with Hoover, so he has the connection there. That's always fascinating to see where people go. We did not talk about one of the fastest risers, though. Eaton Messer, the wide receiver, went off to Josh. You know, what is that, number 7 there?
107, yeah, that's high.
107. I mean, he's definitely a CFF guy.
And we have our first 2 quarterbacks who have gone off the board. JD, who will be our first guest joining us here in just a couple minutes. JD went Cade Klubnik and Ryan Williams, and Lenora Sellers went at 203 here, and that was to Jeremy. One thing, John, that's a little different strategy-wise for us compared to a normal league. We have 14 in this league, right? And so that does kind of make the time between picks feel a little bit longer, especially if you're on the turn like we are or like JD and Joe are.
Oh, absolutely. In a 14-team league, the quarterbacks could dry up a little bit quicker than they do in a 12-team league. And obviously, so you're balancing like the tournament setting of an underdog draft with like the idea that, you know, where is the value? Where are the tiers at the quarterback position in 14-team league? So that definitely changes a lot there. So we got a lot of running backs. So look at that. Again, we got 3 of the first 5 in this round. Trey Wisner went 2-2. Parker of Utah went 2-4. And Quinton Joyner of Texas Tech went to Dwight Peoples, who's in the room with me here. So we're having another running back run here. And, you know, it's funny because you had mentioned, I'll go back just quickly. I think Eric's the only one who likes Jeremiah Love more than I do. I love Jeremiah Love too, but I know Eric, Mr. Froton, likes him also. I do think Notre Dame's going to be very good. I actually put a little side bet on Jeremiah Love for the Heisman. I got 4,000 to 1 odds, so I'll take that as a long shot any day. Especially if he happens to be as good as I believe on Notre Dame. We know how the Notre Dame media goes. If he's great, you know, that just boosts his national value. So I like him very much. Aha. So who do we? Oh, Mike Bainbridge. He loves Arch Manning.
Arch Manning. And John, we have our first.
I can't count. Go ahead.
Okay. I was just going to say we have our first guest ready to join us here. So I think we're going to go ahead.
Oh, okay.
We're going to bring in JD here. First on the lineup this year, JD. We bumped you up.
How we doing?
Good.
Hey, man. JD, good to see you, brother. How's the kids?
They're good. They're good. It's bright and early here on the West Coast, so we got them up and ready for donuts. So Dad could do his stream. So
hey,
going well over here.
Every dad loves a donut to keep the kids occupied.
A 7:06 showing here on the West Coast. Shout out to JD, and we know we have some folks joining us live on the West Coast. By the way, the live numbers are popping off right now, so thank you to everyone joining us. Share it around on your Discords, your friends on Twitter right now. We want to make this show as big as possible here. But JD, you're picking from the 114. I'm sure when you first saw that, you weren't thrilled about it, but I have to imagine walking away with Cade Klubnik, the first quarterback, and a wide receiver who's in the top 4 in me and John's consensus rankings. That's not a bad way to start the draft.
Yeah, I'll take it. You know, with 14 teams, I basically loaded up my queue, and it's like, well, there's a lot of good running backs, and not a single one I had in my queue was left. But my top quarterback I thought would be there in a 6-point passing. I said, you know, I'm going to feel good about that every single week. And then Ryan Williams, you know, you can't feel bad about Ryan Williams. So still have some foundational pieces. This is whether or not the depth's going to fall to you with a lot of sharp drafters and a lot of teams. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how the rosters fall.
So
John,
JD,
I'll let you take this away as I heavily debate my pick here. I'm torn.
Go ahead, Matt. JD, when you're in a large league like this with 14 teams, so obviously it's very hard to be on the ends. I'm at 1 and you're at 14. I've seen a bunch of my players in the queue. Do you think Klubnik at the quarterback position, do you think that gives you a big enough boost? Because he has 35 to 45 point upside in any given week. Is it worth bypassing the running back in your book? If viewers are watching, is it worth going high-level quarterback when we're this late in the round?
See, where I'm at the end of the round, I thought it was kind of an easy click for me. I would say yes, it would be worth it. I think when you're looking to get an advantage, that's kind of a clear advantage. Obviously, you're getting disadvantage at other spots. That being said, if I was somewhere else, and I'll try to keep talking a little bit. John's on the clock here. If it's anywhere else in the first round, like I had Claiborne, Jeremiah Love, I had Brown in my queue. There's a very good chance I would have taken, especially like Jeremiah Love as a guy I was looking at. So I think it depends where it's at. I think that's when you're doing like your tiers. If you're like, these are my elite running backs. If my elite running backs are gone, then to me, it's not a question. I'm getting out of there with 2 elite pieces, no matter what.
I should have known better than to let Avery Johnson get to the turn with John. I should have known better. I was thinking about doubling down on the double tap here, but I couldn't resist Blake Horvath. You know, that's our guy on me and John's on the Rookie Big Board show. And I'll walk away with Cam Coleman as well.
Ooh. So, JD, tell us about Ryan Williams, because I think there's some trepidation with Ryan Williams. We have a change of quarterback at Alabama. I think overall the perception is that people were disappointed in the Alabama offense last year. I mean, Milroe fell off in the second half. So how do you feel? And then if you look at Ryan Williams' second half, he definitely wasn't as productive. But I don't think people say this enough. He was a 17 and 18-year-old.
I haven't heard anybody talk about it.
He was.
But in the second half of the year, young men are going to fall off. So tell us why you love Ryan Williams here, even though some people have their questions.
Yeah, I see the trepidation. He was a guy last year, like he had those big pop-off games early, but the volume wasn't really there. And usually I'm just a straight volume guy in fantasy. You kind of have to be. So he's a guy last year I was like, I think he's overvalued at points. And then going into this year, I mean, I pretty much think it's every single arrow is up, right? You have that production at that age in the SEC. You have Kalen DeBoer. I mean, Kalen DeBoer is just, you can't name many people who I think higher of offensively than that. So every single year it's Kalen DeBoer. I think that's only going to improve. Even at quarterback, I think they're going to have a better passer. I like Jalen Milroe is a complete stud running the ball, but passing, like you're probably going to get a better passing attack that Kalen DeBoer wants with Ty Simpson in there. And then he gets his OC. Remember, they lost their OC last year. It was kind of a mess. Now he gets his OC, Ryan Grubb, back. Like, I just think everything's pretty tried and true. And, the running game, it looks decent, but it's not like, no one's expecting Jam Miller to get 300 touches. So I think it's a huge season for Ryan Williams. I'd be very surprised if it's anything less.
So I don't know if you have your rankings out, JD, but where would you have Ryan Williams? Is he in your top 4, or how do you have him compared to Eaton Messer and Eric McAllister?
I'd have him above 3. I'd have him 3 behind Smith and Tyson.
Okay, I have him at 4, so I do like him too.
Right
so I
there.
think that's a nice pick there.
Nice. Well, we've got a big run here, and it's coming up on another turn for you, JD. I'll give you some time to make sure your queue's filled up right, and just quickly go over. We had Ted Hurst, Jonah Coleman, Antonio Williams, Deion Burks, Amon Hardy, Denzel Boston, Micah Alejado, and Justice Haynes going. And so, John, I'd love to get your thoughts, but for me, it feels like we're starting to you have to lean into some of that high volatility, right? That's going to maybe have big payoff. We've talked about the Deion Burks injury, Amon Hardy playing a level up, right? Justice Haynes with that split. And now we just had Froton take the first tight end of the draft with Kenyon Sadiq. So is the third round where you really have to start opening it up in terms of strategy? No more safe plays?
I mean, I understand why you want the positional value with Kenyon Sadiq. I've been thinking about where I would take my tight end. I think about the 5th round is where I might start looking. I probably shouldn't say that to people listening and watching, but that's how I want to do for our viewers. I don't know if I would have gone the third round. And we got JD live here, and he took, oh my God, Jamal Haynes. I love Jamal Haynes, man. I got so much Jamal Haynes.
Oh, we love the Georgia Tech
especially
offense.
in PPR. Tell us why you love Jamal Haynes there, JD. Oh, and Stowers. Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I'll mention
Talk
about
to
these
me
guys.
about tight end here. Talk to me about tight end.
Yeah, so tight end. I mean, if Froton didn't take Sadiq, I would have had to think long and hard if it's too early for a tight end. But now that one's off the board, there's a little bit of company. But yeah, I feel like if I don't go Stowers there, I'm gonna end up with a tight end I don't really love, unless if you guys I'm high on make it back to me. I'm kind of like there's like 4 tight ends I like this year. If I don't get them, I just find myself waiting way too long and taking somebody I don't like. So I like locking that down. I think Stowers could go for close to 1,000 yards. You get full point PPR. I think that combined with the Klubnik gives my team an interesting leg up. I'll just have to fill it in somehow with the running backs. I'll be at a clear disadvantage there. So that's why I'm taking Haynes. He's just a guy that's been around a while, clear stud. I do have an issue. Like if you look through Jamal Haynes, I don't think he's ever had a 20 carry game in his entire career. So that's probably why he's like one of those last high-end running backs, right? One of those last like proven made men going that late is you'd like to see that volume, but he's involved in the passing game. He's a clear stud. Battled through injury last year. Otherwise, he would have had a few 20 carry games, and that offense is just going to be pretty prolific under Key.
I'm a big Jamal Haynes guy, and I do think sometimes in the fantasy industry, and even myself included, we can overlook efficiency for volume. And I think Jamal Haynes is such an efficient running back with his catches and with his yards per catch and in that system. And I think he's a better goal line back than he's given credit for. Unfortunately, they got Haynes at quarterback, right? So that takes a little bit away. But he is a good goal line back. I think he's a very underrated back. I mean, especially in a PPR format, he might have 40, 50 catches this year, which is a boatload in college. It's not like the NFL. We have less games, and he could have those big weeks with like 5 catches for 70 yards and a touchdown. So I love him there too.
Yeah, absolutely. Want to give a shout out to RJ, who mentioned in the chat, just dropped a donation to St. Jude's, encouraging everybody to do the same. Big shout out, RJ. We appreciate you greatly. JD, we got about a minute left with you here. I want to make sure we talked a lot of strategy. If folks want to hear strategy from you the rest of the year, where are you putting out that really good content this year?
Yeah, I'll be with Fantasy Points this year. They have a great crew over there. I'm going to be doing DFS breakdowns, chopping up the DFS slates with my guy Josh, who will be on here later. I'm sure he'll tell you all about it. He's the head honcho. So, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, man. It's great. I just want to say, if I don't get a chance, great to be on. I made it out there the first 2 years to Canton. So the inaugural year and then the season after. Just meeting everyone, meeting John, meeting all the guys was amazing. It's been a few years, so there's a few guys in this league that I haven't met face to face yet. So at some point that's going to happen. So again, just want to say thanks for having me on. It was great chop and shop, and we've assembled quite a crew here. I'm looking for this entire cast is just going to be tremendous. So everyone stay tuned. If you miss it, make sure you go back and watch the replay.
Absolutely.
Thank you, JD. Great to have you. And Matt's up, so I'll talk a little bit.
Thanks, JD. We appreciate you.
Thank you, JD. I'll cover. So we had Dwight Peebles. I'll go. Parker Navarro. He opened up with 3 running backs, then took his dual threat quarterback. Then Mike Bainbridge took Corey Rucker. Interesting. Mike Bainbridge has a 2 quarterback build going with Archie Manning and Mika Alejandro. Then, and sometimes it's difficult for me to see the screen here. So I think that's Tommy Harvey. We have Freely Hashlock. He's gone 2 running back, 2 wide receivers. We had Josh take Dylan Carson. So Josh has opened up with the receiver. Then he pounded the running back position with 3 straight. Matty Chasers took Say Bengura out of Miami of Ohio. We have Chris up in Canada, took Chase Sowell, wide receiver. I hate you, Chris. I wanted him very much. We have, let's see, who is that?
I think we have
Chris Bell.
Emmett Johnson up next, John, and I'm going to jump in because you're on the clock. I don't want you to miss your chance to make a pick here. And
all right.
I just took Demon Williams, who I have talked about as being overpriced compared to consensus, but in this industry draft, he fell in terms of where I'm comfortable taking him. In a 6-point passing, I was willing to lean into it here. And also, John, you could see I'm a little running back light, but I thought I might make it through the turn. I thought you might not, keep going running back here. So I took my chances there. But I'm going to let you quickly, before we bring on Jared here, I'm going to let you quickly just give a shout out to, actually, I'm just going to go ahead and bring on Jared as I make my pick here. And Jared, very well dressed for the draft this year.
Hey,
All
Jared, I know
business.
you're in the room, but good to see you, brother.
I mean, I'm out in the hallway now. Again, it's quite a ruckus in there, so I got to make sure I'm out here where you guys aren't hearing all of the profanities being thrown as everybody gets sniped over and over.
You know, it's funny because when you're drafting live, you have so many thoughts in your head. I'm watching the draft board. I'm trying to set up my queue, you know, and I've gotten sniped so many times I can't even say it. But Jared, you drafted in the middle. What'd you have?
Sir.
Pick 6? Was that pick 6? Has your strategy that you wanted to partake in, has it worked? Is this what you wanted? Like, tell us how it's going so far for you.
I'll be real. It's a lot more boom or bust than I maybe would like to start this draft, mostly due to the fact that, again, like I was there at the 6th pick, and the 6th pick, in my opinion, is one of the worst spots to be in because you got those top 5 guys there with, you know, Reed, Smith, Washington, Tyson, and Taylor, and all I sat there and did was pray that one of those guys fell to me at that 6th spot. None of them did, so I took Edwards. I'm a little worried about his ability to actually hold up throughout the entire year. But obviously with that system there with Kansas State, we know that they can and will feature a bell cow back. And Dylan Edwards looked great at the end of last year. His PPR upside's incredible. So I'm okay with that. 2nd round, I got cute. I was talking to Josh Chevy where, you know, the temptation to get cute in this draft is more real than any other draft there. And 6-point passing touchdown. I did the projections for myself before I got into this draft. And I noticed that Veltkamp, even with a confidence discount on him, with him transferring and everything, still my number 1 projected quarterback in 6-point passing touchdown leagues. And I'm like, if he hits, I'll be back in the playoffs this year. So, and then Brooks fell to me in the 3rd round. I don't love the injury news and like him kind of being banged up again. But again, it's a Ben Arbuckle slot receiver, full PPR. I'll take that upside all day long.
I've listened to you enough over the year. I will say, doesn't seem like your typical Jared draft, but you are right about going high risk, high reward. Because if Veltkamp hits, I mean, you're completely gold if he gets like 40 touchdowns and 6-point passing touchdowns. And do you see this also? Does Burks seem to be falling? I feel like early in the year when we were drafting in March and April, he was going pretty much 2nd round. He doesn't seem to be doing that. Is that what you see so far also?
No, for sure. And for good reason, right? Again, like, once again, we're getting reports of him being banged up in fall camp, and that's been his big MO recently, is that he just can't really stay healthy. And so, yeah, him getting here in the 3rd round, like, I'll take the upside there all day long. I'm now on the clock.
Yeah, Jared,
here.
I'll let you take a moment to take your pick here, but I want to give John a chance here. Garrett did ask who won the Kings Classic last year. And we usually do talk about the draft weekly, if not semi-weekly, on the Rookie Big Board channel, John. We like to throw that into our weekly pick show. But talk to us about who won the draft, who won the league last year.
Yeah, and I absolutely forgot. I brain farted. I should have said to everyone, congratulations to Dwight Peoples. He's in the room here today. He's got the CFF championship belt from last year's Kings Classic, so he is the defending champ. I was lucky enough to win it 2 years ago. So, and then we had Shane Hallam. He won it in 2022. And Justin Heisey was our first from the CFF Insiders. He was our first year winner in 2021. So go ahead, Jared. Tell us
this is an interesting one,
why.
Jared.
So again, I'm seeing the tight end starting to come off a little early here. So I just went ahead and grabbed my top tight end this year, and that is John Michael Gillenborg. I think
he's your one.
He's my one.
Okay.
And a lot of people are really big on Sadiq, and I totally understand that. He's my tight end 4. But you want to talk about different tight ends that have that ability to take that next step, because a lot of the tight ends coming back from this past year finished in that, tight end, 13 to 25 range, right? So not elite guys that'll be league winners, but super solid tight ends. So we're looking for those guys that can really take that next step. John Michael Gillenborg, with that Wyoming offense, with a better run game, seems like they want to have a better run game this year to where the defenses can't key in on John Michael Gillenborg. They'll have Caden Anderson as a full-time starter this year. He's the better passer out of the 2 options at quarterback they had last year. I think that John Michael Gillenborg, even if you just get him, I think last year he had like 62 targets on the season. If you get him to 70, 75 targets this year, he is super efficient. He turns a lot of those targets into very productive plays. He can make that Harold Fannin type jump that we saw last year. And so I'm willing to take that shot here in the 5th round. Just go ahead and grab him before we get too far into this. Plus, I kind of looked at the wide receivers. I took a look at the running backs. I think a lot of those guys could fall back to me in this next round. Although I did miss out on Dane Key there. That one sucks.
I'll tell you what, I love an excuse to watch Wyoming football. I'm in on that alone. I got to tell you, this is a sharp run on the back end here. Vander Ross, Frazier, Coleman, Key, those are all guys. I know, Jared, you mentioned Key. I'd love to hear your thoughts on him. Those are all guys that I'm targeting in this range. So I just, one round too cute with it for me.
I don't think so. I heavily considered taking Key there. I just wasn't. Okay. I just thought about the fact that like maybe I could get him on the way back here in the 6th round. But again, sharp guys we're drafting with here. And Joe himself was the one to get us that inside scoop on Dane Key. I can say this live on air because Joe posted in a free article, but he actually met up with Dana Holgerson in a bar in Nebraska and straight up asked Dana, who's your number 1 guy this year? And he said Dane Key was that guy. Well, we've seen what Holgerson has done with his wide receiver ones over the years. Key's a little bit bigger than what we're kind of used to with Holgerson, so it's a little bit different. So maybe we don't see as dominant of a performance as we've seen with some of those Holgerson wide receiver ones. But at the same time, like once you know who the Holgerson wide receiver 1 is, he should be going top 5 rounds.
I have one quick question because I love your tight end also. I think that's a great pick because he has the potential to be the number 1 target for the Wyoming Cowboys. But in general, I have not seen tight ends go off the board so quick. What do you, is that also what you've seen, Jared? And do you have a reason why that might be happening in this draft today?
Again, Froton really kicked it off with that Sadiq pick there in the 3rd round. Like normally the Sadiq pick, whenever somebody makes it, is kind of the trigger for other guys to go off. And I think it was really that Stowers pick there by JD on that 3-4 turn there that really signaled to everybody else, like, hey, go ahead and start grabbing your tight ends. Because normally you can see Sadiq go a round or 2 earlier, and people kind of wait on Stowers and then a guy like Jolie, Royer, one of those guys to come off at that point. And I think, again, once Stowers came off the board there, Jolie coming off there from your pick there, Matt, I think that was what triggered me and said, like, all right, the tight end run could be any point here. I'm just going to go ahead and grab my number 1 guy.
And hopefully we'll get Jared live. He's coming up in 2 more points or picks. I do think this is definitely the earliest I've seen this many tight ends go off the board. But I also wonder if it's because it's a 14-team league, which makes the 3 or 4 top tight ends. I would say there's 4 tight ends in general that people value, and they're all gone right now. So you have to, maybe you have someone else like me. I got to hope that someone falls to me. And when do I find the value? But yeah, I think that's done it. And what are you thinking now, Jared? Are you best player or is there a position? I see you have 1 wide receiver. What's in your brain there that you're saying you should do to roster build right now?
My brain is telling me that I need to attack running back before they start drying up. And I'm looking at 2 guys here. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go over to our tool over at campus2canton.com.
There it is.
And
there it is.
Going to use
this is a professional, folks.
This is a professional, but I'm legitimately using it. So like I want to like people to see that like this is legitimately me using it in real time. What I can do is I can plug in what draft pick we're currently in, what my next draft pick is, which I think is the
9. Are we around?
7?
No,
we're
seven,
around
6.
6.
So it'll tell me the
team.
likelihood of each individual player, how likely they are to make it back to me. So I'm going to put my 2 guys in here, and I'm going to take the guy less likely to make it back to me. It's not by much, but I will go Kyson Brown here.
Oh!
Kyson.
Oh, you're killing me. I wanted him so badly on the turn.
I love that pick.
And now it's a matter of, do I get lucky and make it back to me? Because I think I want to hit double. I'm going to double hit running back here. And then I'll take late shots on wide receiver. There's still a lot of good guys on the board here, although I'm looking at Matt's board. And you can really see just the good options at wide receiver there.
All right, Jared. Well, you're going to have to let us know in the chat if you get your guy back to you. That is all the time we have for you, but thank you so much. And you're going to want to make sure you're following Natty Chasers on YouTube, as well as your work over at Campus to Canton, right?
Yes, sir. Again, at Chasing the Natty on Twitter. I'm at CFF_Jared on Twitter as well. And again, it's Chasing the Natty on YouTube and on podcast forum. You can find the podcast feed on its own or with the Campus Again podcast feed.
Great show. All right. Thanks,
Thanks,
Jared. Thanks for
Jared.
joining us, man.
Thanks, y'all. Appreciate it.
And Matt,
All right.
I never got to discuss because I took 2 wide receivers there on the turn because we had Jared and we had JD. Oh, we got Mike Brainbridge. So hello, Mike. Come on in, brother.
Right in here. Mike, thanks for joining us, man. All right. So
Mike, can you hear us? We have audio challenges with Mike, so we're seeing what's happening, everyone.
all right, we'll give Mike a second backstage here to work
Oh,
through that.
Darius Geis went. Stop taking my running backs, everyone. Those were the ones in my queue.
So that's what I was gonna say, John. You well, before you jump in there, I just want to the chat is open, folks. Let us know your thoughts and comments on these picks. We will share them out as we go here. We love to hear that. And yeah, John, go ahead. What are you thinking here? You're coming up on your turn. I'll be honest here. I don't care if Steve can hear me. I think I might need to address the running back position at this point.
So we're having some challenges with Mike. We're going to try to get him back in, see what we can do with Mike on the StreamYard. So we look forward to talking to Mr. Bainbridge there. But I've kind of decided this year to be more balanced than I've been in the past with the way drafts are going. So that's why I did 2 running backs. So I'm solid there. I like that. I have Avery Johnson, my high up end rushing quarterback. And then I'm really into balance this year. So then I went my 2 wide receivers. TJ Moore, who might be a little bit up and down because you have Antonio Williams and they have other weapons in Clemson. But I think at the end of the year, the numbers will be there and I'll take the swings in production. And I do like this Texas Tech offense very much. And Caleb Douglas, now he may or may not be the number 1, but I think they have enough production in that Texas Tech offense for 2 productive wide receivers. So I like Caleb Douglas there. So now the question is, I'm up here. So I'm going to stay with balance, and I can't watch these tight ends go off anymore.
And John, I think we're going to go ahead. We've got Shane here with us. So as you're making your pick, I'm going to go ahead and bring Shane Hallam in of the Draft Sharks. Shane, back for another season, man. Thanks for joining us.
No, I appreciate you guys having me. I'm sad that I don't get to run up and down in the Hall of Fame to be at the live draft this year. So I'm drafting the IDP Kings Classic at the same time. So we're two drafting it today.
Hey, great to see you, Shane. And
you too, John.
Those who don't know, Shane was the 2022 Kings Classic champion. So everyone should be listening closely when Shane says something in this draft. And Shane's now over at Draft Sharks, right? Right, Shane?
Yeah, retired teacher now officially as of June 30th. So it's been a year full-time at Draft Sharks. So having a good time and pushing them for a little more college content here.
Awesome. The more people who offer college content, the better for our whole hobby. So that's great, Shane. And congratulations on full-time over at Draft Sharks.
No, thank you. So you got to hold down the teacher wing for us.
Thank you, my brother. So tell us how your strategy coming into this. Where did you pick? You had the 4th pick. So you started with Jordan Tyson. Why did you decide to go with a high-end wide receiver there over a running back at pick number 4?
Yeah, to me, I feel like after Desmond Reed, I think I liked the running backs, the next 10 to 12 running backs pretty similarly. So I felt like Tyson, talent-wise, a step above the rest. Right? I'm the NFL draft guy, so I like, these NFL-type prospects. I think Tyson can have an even bigger year. I think Sam Levinson for a big year. So to me, I think receiver dropped off a little bit quicker than running back.
Fantastic.
And I know I'm with you. I tend to favor the high-end draft prospects, too. I think it's because we both love the NFL draft so much and we focus on our Devy Dynasty rankings. So I'm the same way, Shane. So then after you got the wide receiver, what are you saying to yourself on your roster construction? I know you're doing an IDP league also maybe. So what are you doing for roster construction after that? You double-dipped at running back.
Yeah, and then I think I got kind of that tier at running back going Nick Singleton, who, I think Penn State, despite the Drew Aller love, is going to be ground and pound and grind it out. And I think you saw Singleton take a step forward last year. So I liked him. And I kind of with what you were saying, John, I want to stay balanced. I wanted to get 2 running backs. I got Jonah Coleman after that, and then Chris Bell from Louisville at the receiver spot. So staying balanced with those running backs and receivers, I think, is kind of the best approach right now.
And Shane, we're going to let you make your pick here.
Ooh,
John, you
live.
went Trades Green and Jam Miller at the turn. I went Jaden Ott and Sawyer Robertson. I feel like I stayed on brand for the guys we've been hyping up here. What made you go Green and Miller?
Well, anyone who's seen me, I'm a big Trades Green guy this year. I think he has huge upside. I cross my fingers. I think I have him at number 4 in my rankings. I don't have my rankings in front of me. If you see me turning my head, my draft board is over here. Everyone, we're in a conference room
You
in
have
my
him at
screen.
3, John. I just pulled up our consensus ranks. You have him at 3.
There, I have him at 3. So I took a big risk because I know I'm higher on him than most people. And, you know, did I miss something? Has Garrett Nussmeier gone off the board, or is he dropping?
I think
he did fall to round 5, huh? Which
Yeah,
is interesting.
he's
I
off the board.
wonder if this patella tendon is scaring people off. I was wondering about Nussmeier. But I love Trades Green. I think there was a big drop off in my rankings outside the top 4. So I rolled the dice on the end, but I could not have rolled the dice again. I was like, I can't wait another 26 picks. And then I couldn't believe I looked at my running backs in my queue, and there was Jam Miller. I love Jam Miller this year. He's getting good reports coming out of camp. I mean, I like Kalen DeBoer's system, so I took
Nice
Miller.
safe play
All
there.
right, so
Yeah.
we got Shane made his pick.
Shane, you took Coleman, who I am pulling up in our consensus ranks at 46. John's got him down in the 60s.
John, what are you
Why
doing?
are you so low on Coleman? Talk to us.
Yeah, look. I mean, I love the production from last year. I mean, he's just an absolute target hog every single week. And we saw, I think, the end of the season with like a 15 target game. I think we're going to see a lot more of that for San Jose State. You know, and for me, a lot sometimes in college, especially in college fantasy, you know, like taking Haynes King, I took in the 5th round.
I love.
I want these bad defenses. You know, I mean, they're going to give up. Georgia Tech's going to give a lot of points. San Jose State's going to give up a lot of points, and that means that the passing games of both those teams are going to be scoring. I will say that John did snipe me on Jam Miller, so I'm a little perturbed at that.
So I was going to say, so do you like Jam Miller too as an NFL prospect going into at this point? I know it's early; he hasn't done it yet, but I like him. I think he has some upside. What do you think about him? I know we're going off a little bit track, but I'm sure you've taken a look, Shane.
No, I mean, I think the receiving ability that he has, even if Alabama doesn't utilize him enough of that way, I think they will. Kalen DeBoer be smart to do that. I mean, I think he fits the current NFL running back landscape. So I think we could see 3rd, 4th round in the NFL draft, and I think, you know, his NFL stats could ascend that draft spot. So I'm pretty high on him and that Alabama offense this year.
Yeah, I was watching some tape. I think he's a better pass catcher than given credit. And then I saw some tweets from Alabama beat writers or training camp or whoever. I don't know who they are, always on X. But he had some nice – they were using him in the passing game, which, I mean, if we can get him up to 40 receptions for the Crimson Tide, I'd be very happy with that. But I think
he's really good at it. I think he's really good at it, and we haven't seen it, and I think it's coming.
I agree with you on that.
Shane, we got a question live here, and Eric McAllister, he went 12th overall in our draft. We've got a question from Frog Fan, an appropriate one about McAllister. He's asking, you know, early 2nd round pick. Are you targeting McAllister in that range?
I am. He's actually my wide receiver 3 this year. I think. He's a player. You know, we'll see how the TCU offense works out. But I think talent wise, he's actually probably flirting with it being a day 2 NFL draft pick. He's that good, and we've seen the production already. So I'm a big fan. And if I could get Eric McAllister in the 2nd round, I'm all in.
So, Shane, I have a question for you. I like to, if possible, to take a pass catcher with my quarterback. You've now taken Haynes King. Is there anyone you would consider, or do you like that strategy, or are you not? I mean, I know Canes is more of a running quarterback. So is that someone you're not looking to pair up with a pass receiver?
Yeah, I mean, I probably for Haynes King, I'm not there. But if I'm taking more of a, if I'm taking more of a passing quarterback, then I look to kind of make that pairing. So I have some later pairings I might be trying here, not to spoil anything. So don't snipe me.
Of course.
But yeah, we'll see what happens later in this draft.
We might try to snipe you, Shane. We are coming up. We're coming up at the end of the time that we have for you. But I mean, I know I say it every year, but just the deepest, most thorough NFL draft coverage. And I know you mentioned Draft Sharks trying to push out a little bit more college content, but when it comes to the draft, man, you are absolute top tier. So just give folks let them know exactly, where they can find your work now that you are full-time at Draft Sharks.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me. I always appreciate the compliments. You two are two of the best. So much respect from me. But yeah, you can go to draftsharks.com. I have a 2026, 2027 NFL mock draft up, 7 rounds each on the site, plus, rankings, fantasy, Devy rankings. I think if you Google Devy rankings, I think mine pops up there at the top 100. So, so you'll see some of these CFF guys actually on the Devy rankings that people are forgetting about. So.
Awesome. I laughed when you said 2026 and 2027 because I figured you had a 2032 mock draft out there somewhere as well.
Look, I may have drafted Peyton Manning's son Marshall, who's in middle school, 2 W leagues already. Let's not talk about it.
Oh, you're Chattanooga. It's all the buzz. All right. Well, Shane, the last thing I'll say is I think we need to hear in the chat a vote for best dress because we've got Shane's awesome button down here.
The Mega Man, baby. You got the Mega Man. You got
Mega Man, babe.
Jared's dressed up, full classy attire. But we're about to bring on Dwight, and Dwight has all the right in the world to wear the shirt that he's wearing. So thank you, Shane. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Shane.
Thank you.
And now we have Dwight, who's wearing the champ shirt.
I'm sorry. Did someone call the champion? My bad. Hey, how you guys doing?
Well deserved. Is that custom bought for today's event?
Yes, I did buy it for today. Yes, specifically.
That is the best money you'll spend all year, Dwight.
I know. I wear it around the house. My wife will be like, "What the hell are you doing? Get that out." What's up, guys?
Hey, and Dwight is with us in Canton, Ohio. So thanks for joining us. And Dwight and I had a great chat yesterday afternoon with my wife. So it was great to break down and have some conversation with Dwight. So Dwight, you opened up here. What pick did you have? You're number 10. So tell us what you were thinking when you got to number 10.
Just really honestly hoping one of the running backs made it to me, and I almost got LJ. I didn't think he'd even get close to 10, and then Bainbridge took him at 9. So I kind of pivoted a little bit. I like Claiborne almost as much. So my goal was just to take several running. I wasn't going for balance. I wanted the teams that I've built so far have been 3 or 4 running backs in the top 6 rounds, and that's what I did. I took 4 in the top 6. So it allows me to focus on other things for the rest of the draft. So yeah, there's been a lot of surprises, but that's what I expect with this group. So.
So, by the way, I'm really mad at a lot of these people. They're taking my wide receivers. So I just want to say I'm mad at everyone right now in this draft. But Matt's coming up, Dwight. Yeah, so tell us, after you got sniped by Mr. Bainbridge there, and I loved Archie Manning too, why did you double? You went 3 running backs, right, Dwight? Can you tell us? I think you're the only one who triple dipped at the running back position. Why did you do 3 straight running backs, my brother?
Oh, that's what wins these leagues. I think that's what won me last year. As I had, Neal, Brooks, and LJ, and I think just having those 3 running backs down the stretch was key. So I will definitely take running back ones way over these guys. I still think there's value to be had in quarterback. There's value to be had in running and wide receivers if you play your matchups right. I just think there's so much more value deep down to find a wide receiver 1 in like round 9 and 10. So I think it makes more sense to get those solid RB1s like right off the bat. Just get them out of the way, because there's a lot of guys now going that are just that you might find a running back 1 here and there, but there's a lot of question marks too. So
tell us about Parker Navarro, because obviously when you go 3 running backs, it's a question of, do I go wide receiver? Is there maybe a tight end, which I don't know if you would have gone there, but tell us why you went with Parker Navarro with your 4th pick at quarterback, bypassing the wide receiver position.
Because I saw the way the runs were going, and in a 14-team league, I sometimes will wait till 6 or 7 for a quarterback, but I felt like the way the draft was falling, it was 6-point passing touchdowns and then nothing for interceptions. I think it made sense to grab a guy who will have the high volume like this. I was really hoping to get Hoover, and I just kind of brain farted and took Yassine Willis instead. So
So I'm going to let Matt take over because I have 2 picks to
Yeah.
make. So go ahead, Matt. Good to see
I
you
went
back.
for Wesco here, and as we turn into the 9th round, from the chat, let us know who's your vote for early favorite. We're 8 rounds in. We've got some built out rosters. You can see most of the roster here on the screen. Actually, oh come on, John! I thought I was gonna get him.
Which one? Who did you like?
I wanted
I like
Jacoby
both of those.
Lane. I wanted to double tap wide receiver here, but
I could not. I've been watching
Really
Jacoby
like
Lane for about since I made my last pick, and I'm very happy. I usually take him earlier, but I was like, you know what? Let me take Jacoby Lane here. He had 9 touchdowns or 10 touchdowns last year, and I do like this USC offense to improve this year. So I was really happy that I double dipped at the wide receiver. I got Ian Strong and Jacoby Lane.
Well, I didn't want to do it, but I'm doubling down at Ohio State wide receiver.
Ooh.
I don't know. Darnell Tate in the 9th. If I can't get
that's a value, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not? As long as the quarterback works out, that's great. It's just too many quarterback questions. I think that's why he's being avoided. Same with Eugene Wilson. I mean, good Lord, I can't believe he's still available, but I think we're all scared as hell at DJ Lagway. So
hopefully he's still wrapped in bubble wrap. That should be the plan here.
Yes, exactly. One of those big giant hamster ball, although big inflatable balls, they'll just roll him around the field and he'll robot arm.
Tell us at this point in the draft, sleepers, high values, folks who are watching this and they're looking at us drafting in the 6th, 7th, 8th round in that range. Who has jumped out to you? Maybe not even just from your team, but just guys that you're like, yeah, that's somebody I want to target in this mid range.
Yeah, there's guys that just went recently. I think that like the Ian Strong was a great one by John. I thought the Josh Cameron Baylor pick from Joe was a kick in the nuts. He was one I had really hard. That one hurt a lot. So the Voisin is a great. There's been several that have gone recently that if you get in a normal draft, they're probably making it to 9, 10, 11. But they're guys that we're taking smarter because I think if you look at this draft, there's a lot of guys here that are grabbing value that will fall in your supplementals, in your CFF drafts. A lot of these guys in this round here, 7, 8, will fall till 10 or 11 in your normal drafts. So pay attention to this draft if you've got one coming up because these guys are really damn smart. So this is. As far as guys left, shoot, man, I don't want to say too much. I don't know who's listening. There's still a lot of value at tight end. I don't care what anybody says. I love Terrence Carter. I know that Houston doesn't normally support tight ends, but I just love him. I think the guy's a talent, and sometimes talent will exceed in situations where normally a tight end wouldn't be supported or normally a wide receiver wouldn't be supported. Talent's going to win. I mean, the quarterback's going to find the talented guy who's open. Bottom line. So I think at some point that Ty Simpson's a good value pick too. I mean, why not? If he hits, he's going to hit big.
Well, Dwight, I think that's something all fantasy fans overlook. And I think about this a lot. And it's just because I've watched so much football over 45 years. A good coach will tweak his system when the talent dictates it. And if you're not tweaking your system, you're not a good coach. Like that's just It's just the reality. Like if the most talented player at receiver is your tight end, you better wake up and change your strategy, right? Like, and that's what you're saying. I think sometimes as fantasy analysts, I think we miss that because yes, we know that a coach wants his system to work.
Right.
But sometimes the system, the player is a round peg in a square hole. So you got to adapt. And I think the great coaches do that. And I think we overlook that.
Absolutely.
Right.
So that's why I like Carter there.
Yeah, we analyze things. Yeah, we analyze things. And 85% of the time it's right. But there's always those 15% that will exceed their situation. So, yeah.
So what are you going to tell us about the rest of your receivers, Dwight, and what might you be thinking? So I see you're coming up in 3 picks. What are you thinking? How are your receivers? How do you like them? And what are you thinking?
I still am targeting him. I love Van Der Ross. I love McEwen. Joseph Williams is he's a guy that has a spot in my heart because he helped me win the title last year.
He was so good.
And I'm hoping that just because the way God, what's the quarterback? Liberty's old quarterback. I'm drawing a blank. That's in Colorado now. Salter. The way he plays that hero ball. And Joseph Williams is great in those situations. He's great breaking off, getting loose downfield. That's what he had to do at Tulsa. it very, very well be a YOLO. There'll be weeks where he sucks, and there'll be weeks where he's going to score 30 points. So it's, better in best ball, but I got a little bit of a soft spot for him. So I just took a shot. I think that offense is going to score. They're going to they're going to do fun things.
I like those two receivers. I have them on a lot of my teams this year. I like Joseph Williams. I think he was so good. I do think he's the best receiver on Colorado. Doesn't mean I'm always right. Doesn't mean the offensive play caller is going to call his number. But I do think if you look at the talent, I think he's the most talented in Colorado. And they're going to throw a lot. I mean, they're going to throw a lot. They might have two good fantasy receivers. So you're coming up in 2 picks, so we'll get a live pick here. Have you been sniped today there, by the way, Dwight?
Oh, yeah, lots of times. That's what I expect. This one's a clear just shooting for upside here. I don't know if I like DeCorian more at 9 and pick, but I think someone's got to come out of that offense.
I was thinking about it.
I do believe in Dante Moore, and I do believe in that system. So I think something's got to come out of there, and he is by far the most talented receiver on that roster. So
there goes our guy, Eugene Wilson,
who you talked about.
Eugene.
So, I mean, in general, guys, I mean, this is the Eugene Wilson pick that Dwight alluded to earlier. It's a good time to talk about. It's camp. Things are happening. News is breaking, right? How much are you willing to lean into the risk of it all drafting this time of year?
I've had Eugene Wilson in my queue. Yeah, I think I've liked Eugene Wilson the whole time. It is disappointing camp news right now, but that means there's opportunity value down the board. So I think you have to be aware why I think this draft is so important. This is very different because value is changing. Just like in NFL fantasy drafts and college fantasy drafts, you see value changing. I don't think Eugene Simpson was going that late a month ago, right?
No,
he was
the bottom line is if they don't have Lagway, if they have a crap quarterback, a guy like Eugene Wilson is going to be that crap quarterback's best friend, and he's probably still going to have a damn good season. Even if, whoever the hell they roll out there is all he's got to do is throw the ball 10 yards to Wilson, let him do his. So it's son of a god damn you, JD.
Well, who did he take?
Nick Marsh?
Oh,
yeah. What the hell? Nobody takes him that early. JD, worthless whore. Anyways.
and everyone, there's a background. There's a background story here. Dwight lives in East Lansing, and he's a Michigan State fan. So now he's very mad.
You got double sniped there.
Get CFF list on. I'm out. See ya.
I gotta try to get my cue ready here.
I
gotta fall so far behind.
Well, Dwight, before we take
you all are dirty whores, every one of you.
Dwight, before we take you out here, I know you're with Campus to Canton. Talk to folks about where they can find your work this year.
I'm not doing much written content or anything, so I'm just kind of laying low, doing editing, video stuff, a lot of stuff, just behind the scenes.
Like, you screamed out 3/4. All right.
I did scream. Yeah, I was naughty. Joe,
all right. Thank
JD,
you,
all of y'all.
Thanks for joining us.
All right, see you guys.
See you later, Dwight. Thanks.
All right. So we have.
I don't even know what round we're in. Oh, we're in round 10.
We're into the 10th round here. It's starting to get into. It might feel like a little bit of a slog here, although I will say. Folks are still watching at a high rate, so we appreciate you. This is where you win the league, in my opinion. These are the picks where you're really going to swing value, and especially in a league like this, where there's a lot of, shared knowledge in the first few rounds. Digging deep, John, this is where you can get the advantage.
Oh, absolutely. I think drafts are won and lost in the middle rounds. I've always thought that. You can't do anything about injuries. Injuries are going to happen. We know that. But if you can find depth at any position, you find a weekly starter that somehow is going to be producing, 20 points a game right now. Like, look at Le'Veon Moss by Mr. Froton. I love that pick there. I had him in my queue. He was someone I was thinking about. If Texas A&M, if he's healthy and he's back on the field now, and it seems like the legal problems, I mean, I'm not an expert, but seems like he should be on the field all year. If he's the number one guy for the Aggies this year, you could be hitting a home run. So there is value in this round. And Jeremy Miller, who's with us in Canton, has just joined us. What's up, Jeremy?
What's up, guys? How are you?
Good to have you. And I want to start right off the bat because I had, and I always get the last name, I always get the pronunciation wrong for the Memphis running back, but I had him in my queue because he's somebody that John is sneaky high on. And you know what? That's I'm looking at the competition here as we get to the turn. So start us off here with that pick. That's a nice 10th round one.
No, that's great. And also he's our 4th running back, if I'm not mistaken. So, it's a guy that everybody's pretty confident is going to get the lead role at Memphis. If you follow Tim Cramsey, the offensive coordinator there, going all the way back to his Marshall days, he loves not only, feeding his running back one with carries, he's passing the ball to those guys. Like his running backs routinely have gotten over 40 catches, going all the way back to Rasheen Ali, Watson at Memphis, the other guy at Memphis. So, if this one doesn't work out, it's fine. We got 3 other good ones ahead of him. So we were really happy that we could get him here in the later round or mid draft here.
Nice. So you mentioned,
and I'm not sure how to say his name either, Matt. I don't know how to pronounce it.
That's what love, right?
There's Rogers. I don't know. There's Rogier.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
And I'll put out here, you went Isaac Brown running back to start, like you mentioned. So you're pretty running back heavy. You've gotten a pretty balanced build so far. Yeah. Are you comfortable with your build? No tight end going into round 11. Does that make you nervous at all?
No, not really. We've still got, let me see, if we're looking at our queue on the tight ends, like I think our top 3 are gone, but we got 2 of the top 6 that we like there. I'm going to keep that, quiet for now, but we're I feel like tight end, we don't need to, jump the line there to get ahead, and we'll probably just wait till the very end now for that, because we got a couple guys that we like that other people don't seem to like. We'll see. Like one's coming back from an injury that we made clear. We like RJ Maryland. If he can slip till 18 or 19, we'll be happy to take a chance on him there. Not as tight end 1, but maybe that'll be a backup option. But we're real happy with the build. Like, we never planned to get 2 quarterbacks in the first 3 rounds, but it just fell into our lap. And we had said if we could get one of our top 3 quarterbacks, we'd take him in rounds 1 or 2. So to go ahead and be able to get Sellers and Mateer, we were thrilled, because last year we felt like our downfall. We had a great first year in the Kings. Last year, Byron Brown got hurt on us. We drafted Preston Stone, who lost the job after week 1. So we are not going to let quarterbacks be our downfall this year. We went hard and heavy with the quarterbacks first thing.
So I'm up here for back-to-back, and I would like to complain about some of the people I'm competing against. You're all sniping me in this round at the quarterback position, so I hate all of you very much. You took my 3 quarterbacks. I had in my
got 1 quarterback. We just talked about Jeremy. I just good about his quarterbacks. John does not. That was in the wound.
And I wanted Marcel Reed so bad, so Josh is not getting any soda from me or any drinks at the bar today. So now I have to go to the quarterback. Give me half a second, everyone. I got to see what I want to do.
Yeah, we'll let John get into the ranks here. Jeremy, I was talking about one of my favorite parts of the draft is this area, right? I think there's a ton of value, and if you're looking at round 8, round 9, round 10, who do you like? Not a guy that you drafted, but another pick somebody else made where you're like, man, that one could hit.
Yeah, the one we like, it's round 9, and it's funny when you're getting sniped, in these types of rounds. Like right before Jared took sides from North Texas to follow up his quarterback pick from North Texas. I was on, I'm always on the earpiece with my partner Willie B. And we were getting sides ready to go. If it came back around to us, so we love that wide receiver spot in North Texas. He's going to be the most targeted guy there. So he's the one that we wanted that we didn't get. And then what did we do? We ended up going Lacey. Yeah, we've got high hopes for Lacey. Everybody else is really high on Bell, but Lacey was injured last year. He had a tremendous year, before he went to Louisville. So, I think there's room for 2 receivers in the Louisville offense, and we're happy to have gotten him. But we would have liked sides better. That was the snipe that, hurt.
I love that. I want to give a shout out to Andrew, who mentioned in the chat that he just made his donation to St. Jude's as well. So big shout out to Andrew. And Andrew's also a frequent commenter on the Rookie Big Board YouTube channel. So double shout out to Andrew. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew.
A shout out also, Jeremy, I want to ask you, we had a question in the chat I think this is a really interesting one. Shane asked Jam Miller or Adam Randall. If you're looking at those two guys, I mean, it's Jam Miller.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not quite into the Adam Randall hype, but I want to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, we that was just a weird deal in Clemson with him moving to running back, and then you weren't sure, like, is he really going to play running back? Because, you know, how can a wide receiver make that transition? And then you find out, like, they've literally just made him a running back. So I guess there's no question he's going to be one of the guys. But, you know, the true freshman, you've got Adams, I think, now still getting some run with the ones in Clemson. I don't see any competition for Jam Miller for carries. I think, you know, they're gonna be feeding him the ball without any concern about a committee. He's not competing with the quarterback for carries like he was last year with Milroe. I don't think Thompson's going to run as much. So, yeah, we were pretty upset with John for taking Jam Miller in 7 when you're talking about these. We really thought somehow he was going to make it all the way to the end of 7, and we were going to take him in that round. So that was the first snipe of the day, was John taking Jam Miller, because we really like him. I like the fact that Alabama's also got the coordinator and the head coach duo back in action after the 1-year hiatus last year. I think it's not going to be, you know, the old Alabama, you know, that you're used to with Saban, but I think it's going to be a fun new Alabama team this year that's going to be really fun to watch on offense.
Well, speaking of fun SEC offenses, you picked one of my favorite sleepers of the year in the 5th round when you took Kevin Coleman. I'm a big fan of him. You know, the production in the Mississippi State offense. Now he's the Drinkowitz X. Is that somebody you're getting a lot of exposure to, or he just kind of ended up there for you?
Yeah, he ended up there, but I told Willie, like, we're going to get him because we seem to have him rated much higher. I guess like you, Matt, we like him a lot compared to what we've seen in other people's rankings and where his ADP is. So I promise Willie, like, we're going to get him. I can guarantee it. And so we were happy to have him as, like, you know, our 3rd wide receiver, or maybe 2nd wide receiver here. I feel like with Burden and Weiss gone, you know, it's going to play right into his hands. You know,
it's like 150 vacated targets just off of those two guys alone. And they're not the only ones gone.
Right. And, you know, then it's this new era, though. Like, the track record is a little confusing now. You don't know what it means to have a track record anymore, because what he did at Mississippi State, we don't know if it'll translate. But again, knowing who he's replacing and how good Burden was, you know, I think he's going to be an 85, 90 or 85, 95 target guy. Maybe he can get up to 100 targets.
Great.
And you're coming up, Jeremy, so we'll let you draft live right now. And on my last time, I did solve my quarterback dilemma, everyone. And while Jeremy was talking, I didn't want to interrupt, because so many were sniped, and I loved all those guys who went off just before I could make a pick. I decided to go with Julian Sayin. And there's different stories coming out of Ohio State, and I've heard Ryan Day said he's still in a battle for the quarterback position. But I do think Julian Sayin is I think he's the best. I think that's coach speak. Sometimes you've learned, when you listen to these coaches after year, they want to keep the younger kids on campus. They don't want them to leave. I think Julian Sayin is by far the best quarterback at Ohio State, so I expect him to be the starter. So I said, you know what? Let me go for upside. If I'm going this late and the guys who I really like are off the board, I'm going to have to pick another upside quarterback. I understand that now, you know, the way I roster build today. And I'm hoping that maybe one of these late round quarterbacks, I get a real high upside. But if Julian Sayin hits in that Ohio State offense, and Matt drafted 2 Buckeyes at wide receiver, so if those two are going to
do a little trade, maybe we'll talk after this.
And
Jeremy just made. Oh, you're up here, Jeremy.
Yeah. It looks like Froton timed out, but hopefully that's who he had in his queue. Yeah. So Willie and I were talking about this next guy quite a bit. We had him higher in our queue, but we knew we could wait. So we're going to take the Navy hybrid here. We're going to take Heidenreich.
I love him. He was in my queue, man. I got a lot of him this year. Yeah, he hangs around forever with dual position eligibility. I like him.
When we were doing our write-up on him, what we noticed is, like, last year's numbers weren't even really a fluke. It's just, you know, he just got more volume in both areas, because, you know, you go back to 23, you know, he had, you know, 19, 20 catches. He didn't have quite as many carries, but, you know, he's an odd, weird hybrid. Like, you know, a lot of guys have the running back, wide receiver tag and fan tracks, and it's a little bit of a cheat, but, like, he's really doing both. So, like, you know, you can get points all over the place with this guy.
All right,
And I
Jeremy,
think
Yep.
we're coming up here at the end of our time with you,
You
unfortunately,
got it.
but
No
let
problem.
folks know especially where to follow you because you guys put out great graphics. I love the graphics that you
Oh,
all
yeah.
put out.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah. So we're at CFF lists because that's what we do. We put out a ton of lists and charts and, rankings. So you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at CFF lists. The followings, been growing. We're almost to 2,000 now, which is amazing when we think back, 4 years ago when we just started doing this, since we were diehards. But it's something we have a passion for and will continue to do. And the content's out there. We just reposted our coaching change series, which I think I keep going back to that more than anything for my own notes. Is like how did these systems change with the new coaches? But those are the types of things you can find. We want to find reasons to like the new team or the new coach, and find the systems that work. So
All right. Well, thank you, Jeremy. We appreciate it. We'll let you get to this pick now.
All right. Yeah, no problem. Thanks.
Thanks, Jeremy.
We're rolling right into it here. A
Tommy!
real candidate for best dressed as well here is Tom Harvey. I see some Vols orange. There it is.
That's right.
Well
And we miss you.
represented.
We miss you out here in Canton this year, Tommy, but I know you had something personal to do. So hopefully it's going to go well for you this weekend. But hopefully next year you'll be able to. How are you, Tom?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I really wish I was there. My brother's getting married in Italy coming
That's
up,
it.
though, so I'm kind of saving up
Congratulations.
to make the trip over that way.
Have you been, by the way?
I've been to Italy, but it was when I was a kid. I was like 9-10 years old.
Okay, so I went to Italy as an adult. You're going to like it, I think. It's a great place to visit.
Really looking forward to it.
So tell us about your strategy.
Well, to start off with, I kind of wanted to be just a little bit more balanced in what I had been in the past.
Good pick. Sorry, not to cut you off, but good 12th round pick.
Man. I appreciate that. I saw him kind of lingering around. I'm kind of trying to dance around bye weeks right now. So he was one that really fit my bye week situation.
Oh my God, I have not checked bye weeks. I get so busy live drafted. Yeah. Oh my. I'm going to look at the end and I'm going to be like, oh shoot.
Yeah. 6 and 9 are big ones for me. And it's just, I'm trying to dance around those right now.
But sorry, I cut you off.
Oh, my two quarterbacks are off.
Picture.
Oh, but yeah, I was wanting to start off pretty balanced. So I went with two really high end running backs. Then I came back around with what I thought were kind of the two best available wide receivers at the time. Just because like I said, I wanted to stay kind of balanced.
If people don't know, Tommy and I played in the championship game 2 years ago. I was very lucky. Tommy had a great team, but I think Ollie Gordon and Malik Neighbors were a tough duo, so I got lucky against Tom. That was a great game that Saturday night. If you don't play college fantasy football, nothing better. I was glued in front of the TV for about 12 hours that Saturday in the championship game. Now, I was surprised Mekhi Hughes lasted. Tell us what you like about, because I like Mekhi Hughes too, and I think he tends to be falling. Tell me why you grabbed him there, and I love him. I think it's a great high-end upside. Tell us what you were thinking.
Wow.
Yeah, I was wanting Quentin Joyner to fall to me there, but with Mekhi Hughes dropping, I figured I had to take him because the next highest guy I had on the board was Jaheim White, out of West Virginia, and I kind of felt like Hughes was kind of on a little bit higher level than what White is, so I went ahead and grabbed him there, mainly just because he's coming off 1,200 plus yard seasons at Tulane. I think he's going to have a better offensive line situation at Oregon. And with them switching over to a newer quarterback, I think they may rely on the running game a little bit more.
Yeah, I love him. So I think that's a great pick. Now, who do you take at your other running backs here? Who do you have? Who are your other gentlemen that you picked up to build your running back room for the listeners here?
I grabbed George Pettaway out of James Madison. He had a really solid year last year. Coming into his junior year now, really expecting a little bit more from him, especially with Matthew Sluka transferring over there. I think that running game's going to be on point. I also grabbed Lincoln Pear, who finished off the season last year on a high note there at Texas State, and then I grabbed Javian Thomas out of UCLA. I don't see a whole lot of weapons there for Nico to work with. So I think that running game is probably going to be pretty heavily relied on.
And
so I have a
Nico's
question.
Not a guy, folks might think a little bit of mobility there. He's not a guy who's going to take red zone touches away, right? He's not going to vulture touchdowns from a guy like Thomas.
Right.
So
Yeah, I mean,
Matt's coming up. So I'm going to ask you, Tommy, because you have your Vols on. Matt's a Vol fan. I think we've gone pretty deep, and I don't think there's any Tennessee players coming off the board. I could be wrong. Tell us what you're thinking when you look at the Tennessee Volunteer wide receiver and running backs. What do you think?
I think it's going to be pretty spread around. The running game. I mean, you don't have Dylan Sampson anymore, so it's going to be in between guys like you got Deshaun Bishop, you got Peyton Lewis, Star Thomas is going to be more of a third down back this year. So you're going to have three guys who are going to get a lot of touches in that backfield. So that, from CFF standpoint, that doesn't really play well. And then the wide receiver room is just really young. I mean, you got Chris Brazzell coming back. He's an older guy, but Mike Matthews, Braylon Staley, there's just not a whole lot of known there.
Yeah, I tend to think it's going to be Bishop as the lead runner, but it is important to keep in mind, Heupel is not necessarily – he's going to go with the hot hand, and if the hot hand is committee, that's okay too.
Right. Yeah, they've been talking a lot of both Bishop and Lewis, and Star Thomas kind of being that third down back, even kind of splitting him off into the slot sometimes. So I think you're probably going to see all three guys have quite a few touches.
Absolutely. So, John, you just went Castellanos, and I know one of your favorite guys, Kenny Johnson here. I went all upside. I was a little worried when I brought, I'm willing to bring up everyone's questions. I'm not drafting here for myself. So we had the Adam Randall question, but I was sitting there with Gideon Davidson. I'm a big Davidson fan. And so I thought the chatter might get him drafted here in the 12th round. So I was happy to take him when my turn came up there.
Yeah, and I had to take another quarterback. I did notice I made a mistake in roster building. Julian Sayin, and my number one quarterback, I forgot, Avery Johnson, each have week 4 off. So I decided, okay, I have to have at least a quarterback available in week 4, and I might have to work the waiver wire. So I took Thomas Castellanos for high-end upside. I'm hearing good things out of Florida State and Tallahassee for Castellanos and this Florida State team. I think they're going to be better this year, and Castellanos showed us in 2023 his ceiling. And if I got to play him in week 4 when Florida State, the schedule should still be relatively in their favor, I'm all right with that. So I rolled the dice, and everyone who knows my stuff, I didn't know if Kenny Johnson would make it back to me 26 picks later, so I took him. So, Tommy, what are you thinking in this point of the draft, right? You probably have your starting lineup full. What are you looking for? How are you thinking about building your roster? What are you trying to do when we're in round, what are we, 13 here?
And Tommy, I just want to build off of that. Sorry, John, not to cut you off, but building off of that, as you answer that question, can you also let folks know exactly where all your content is this year? Because we are kind of coming up to the end of our time, unfortunately. So you package those things together for us.
Yeah, right now I'm really just looking to finalize my roster. I need another quarterback or two. I need another tight end or two, and maybe even another wide receiver. Matter of fact, one of my sleepers, who I think is going to have a really, really big year, I'm probably going to try to take towards the end of the draft at wide receiver. But as far as where you're able to find me, at Tom Harvey Sports on X, also Debbie Degens. We do our show, me and SC Romero, every Monday night at 9 Eastern. He's a West Coast guy, so I kind of got to wait till later in the night to do it. But we talk everything Debbie. The off season we've been going through our rankings. We've been going through kind of some sleepers, some draft strategies. But yeah, every Monday night, tune into Debbie Degens on the Player Profiler channel on YouTube, and join us there. Feel free to comment, converse with us. We got plenty of time to talk to you.
Oh, I forgot about Darnell Gill.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Tommy. We appreciate you.
You're killing me.
I also appreciate you rounding out the Vols uniforms here. So we got the smoky grays in the back, we got the dark mode, and now we got the orange. Thanks,
That's
man.
right. That's right. Yeah, guys.
See you, Tommy. Great to have you.
All right, go Vols. Here we go. All right. Froton is with us.
Froton in the house.
of NBC Sports, raising the energy, somehow raising the energy in a room with John Lobb.
Well, John and I were dueling energy vampires, right? For 3 years or so. John and I have recorded innumerable times with each other. So my gosh, this is like riding a bike, like putting on an old, well-worn hat for hanging out.
I missed the wiffle ball bat, Eric. I should have brought one I would have brought one just for memories. If I knew you weren't going to come, I would have had it.
Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. I thought I was going to. I tried.
I know. Hey, it's life. I get it. I'm just, I'm teasing.
Well, behind the scenes, I wanted to have a full-on home run wiffle ball derby Friday night at the Plaza. I was trying to get a sponsorship for it. I was trying to get prizes. DJ Peebles, our own champion, the great DJ Peebles, was going to be emceeing the event. I have a whole list of things I am ready to go for. I wasn't able to do it this year, but I'm going to work double time so that next year we can have the sort of entertainment we deserve on Friday night. And let me tell you, if I get this, I'm going all out. And when I say all out, when Froton says all out, brother, all out. If I'm able to do this next year, I'm disappointed. Able to do this
here, I'll make you a deal.
And you are on the clock. I just want to make sure you know.
If you come out next year, I haven't hit a wiffle ball bat in over 40 years. I'll be 60.
Oh my gosh!
You can strike me out in front of everyone in the fantasy football universe.
He's hustling you. He's gonna hit dingers.
I will. You can just throw that ball and let me strike out easy.
Oh my gosh! No, that's not what I'm here to do, though. It's a wiffle ball home run derby. I don't want to strike you out, John. I want to put the ball on a tee to make you look as good as possible. I want everyone to look good out there. So I want to try to be throwing you perfect right down the middle. I want to put you in the best light. So that's not what I'm trying to do.
Give the old man a chance to hit it.
I want everyone to have fun. Yeah, I don't want to go down there and have it be Froton's going to come out here and mow people down thing. No.
Because I've heard you have a nasty...
Perfect. Oh, I am.
I know you were a pitcher, so I know you have a nasty wiffle ball throw, Matt.
So I'll help you guys out here. In the background, you can see right there, that is a picture. That is the 1963 Wellsville Red Sox, and that is a picture of my father, Richard Froton, who played in the Red Sox minor league system for 3 years. He has a minor league baseball page and everything. I don't know if you guys realize.
I got to look that up now.
Went 10-0 in his last year as a pitcher, and then threw his arm out in spring training the next year.
And the surgery wasn't. The surgery wasn't there.
This is the mid-'60s. There's no Tommy John hasn't happened yet.
Nothing.
he was just a young pup, Tommy John. So yeah, that was not in the cards, unfortunately. But he passed down that pitching acumen to his son, i.e., your humble correspondent here, and hopefully next year I'll get to use that pitching prowess to throw perfect strikes to John Lobb so he can hit a couple bombs over at Jerseys. I want those Jerseys patrons to be in fear, John. In fear.
Froton, you are on the clock as an FYI.
I am on the clock again. All right, gentlemen.
Bringing us back to this sport. After you make this pick, I'm very interested to hear you kind of break down your 11th and 12th rounds there. The Dante Moore, Carson Beck back-to-back quarterback selection here. Is that a reflection of fading the position a little bit earlier? You think those guys are going to do well?
Well, obviously, I think they're going to do well, Matthew. I took them.
Tell us about why you went Kenyon Sadiq in the third round, because I think that's if you're.
Oh, I'm glad you asked me.
If you're new to Stevie, if you haven't been drafting all year round, the tight end is always a question mark for viewers. So tell us why you went with Sadiq that early, my friend.
Sure. Once 14-team league. And I found with the teams that do the best in this particular format, they have elite players. And I just want to get elite players, as many as possible that I can get in my lineup that I perceive to be elite. And at the end of the third round, 14-team league, I've seen in our Champions Leagues drafts, I've seen we do with the same 12 guys. We do 12 drafts, drafting from each position. Bainbridge, Chevalier, all the guys do that. You know, a bunch of us, even Chris K. We even let Chris K in the league. We all do this sort of thing, and each draft is different. But you see in those drafts, Stowers and Sadiq go in the 3rd, 4th round. So, you know, there is a position premium on that. And looking at it here was, you know, looking at the landscape, I was happy to fire that first salvo. And the reason why is because myself and somebody you may know, JD Yonke, none other than JD Yonke, we did a USC, UCLA double tap last year, a 2-for-1 special, 2 games in one Saturday. We went to see Wisconsin, and I think it was Wisconsin. It was Wisconsin and USC. It might have been Penn State and No, it was Wisconsin and USC. And then at night, we went to see UCLA and Oregon. That is the same game that Terrence Ferguson got a concussion going over the middle in the deep.
Oh, yeah.
Braylon Addison. I imagine the guy who hit him was Braylon Addison, former Oregon wide receiver, now converted to a UCLA safety. He took out Terrence Ferguson, gave him a concussion. That being said, in came Kenyon Sadiq. First off, looking at Kenyon Sadiq in pads, me and JD both were in awe. And that's why when you interviewed him, he said, yeah, you know, I was thinking about taking Sadiq there, you know, where it was he was taken. That's why. Is because I've seen that man with these peepers right here, right there, arm's length away from me. I have looked at that man, and I've watched him move, and I got to see him get the most work he got all season. He got a full second half. Guys, it's coming. It's okay. I just don't know more to tell you than that. It's happening.
I love Sadiq.
The way they use him in those, they get him the tunnel screens for tight ends. You don't see tight ends getting that. Maybe you get a Royal get some this year. Very, very rare kind of usage you see from him. And he's just, oh my God, in a set of pads. You can't, it's awesome. I was awestruck at the man, the physical specimen that was standing before me. It's coming. Just get ready.
Right.
So you went late. So you were very patient. I just noticed it's hard to be drafting live. You didn't take a quarterback until Sam Levitt, it looks like, right? I think you might have been. So tell us why you're. So I know you're patient at the quarterback. How come you were willing to wait that long to grab a quarterback?
Well, because I got to address the skill positions, and you know, waiting on a quarterback allows me to be firing that first salvo at tight end. So I get to have that elite tight end, and then still a guy who I have as a top 10, like a top 12 quarterback. He's at the very least number 10 there, Levitt. I love Sam Levitt. I mean, we want to talk about the guys who evaluate pros. Well, guess what? None of y'all watch more tape than I do. I guarantee it. I watch my posterior off of tape, and I have PFF Ultimate because I'm an NBC employee and Chris Collinsworth is there. So where you guys have to go hunt and peck for tape, all I do, I don't know if you guys have seen PFF Ultimate. I just go to the player. Elliot Mays does. You just go to the player. You go to carries or attempts or targets, and you just hit the button, play the video, and you just sit back, and it plays all their attempts, all their targets, all their passes. I've watched all of these guys. Sam Levitt is an ace.
Yeah, I do like Sam Levitt.
He's drastically underrated from right now a pro perspective.
Oh my God, he took my UConn back. I'm telling you, that is not fair in a live draft that someone takes a UConn back. Steve, out of here.
I gotta think there's something behind that, you know. I gotta think there's a little gamesmanship.
Personal.
Mr. Belanda.
That feels personal.
I mean, that's just like taking my heart and stomping it on the floor.
It's the absolute truth.
And I do like Cam Edwards this year.
Well, Froton, sure. I don't want to cut us off here. We're getting towards the end of our time, but I want to let you finish with one final thought here, because I know I've heard you talk about him on the Fantasy Points podcast, and there's been a lot of chatter about that Jeremiah Love pick at 9. Is it too high? Talk to us about why, and maybe if you're taking him that high, how are you supplementing that with your next couple picks?
First off, I want to say to Dan Brown, who had asked it for, of course you get it, Dan. Of course I'll show it to you. Of course I'm going to go with the tank top. Asked and received, my friend. That being said, what was the question?
Jeremiah Love.
Jeremiah Love. Well, I think, again, my friend and coworker, Mr. J.D. Yonke, as you heard him say, he was hoping Jeremiah Love would fall to him. What I like in a first-round pick is bust-free potential. Bust-free. How projectable is this player? And with Jeremiah Love, I think when you're talking about guys who are taken in front of him, okay, L.J. Henderson. How many times the graveyard of G5 running backs we thought were going to be superstars, right, coming into the season and then stink. Let's go with Anthony Hankerson. Have fun with Anthony Hankerson and that offensive line. I know that it'll probably be okay down the stretch because they have a decent schedule, but, dude, they have some ground to make up over there. I just don't feel great about him. He's not a particularly dynamic rusher. So, like, when I'm looking at projecting, when I'm looking at taking somebody, I know because I was on the field for the Notre Dame USC game. I was literally 10 feet away from Jeremiah Love when he levitated on that sideline. That man is the best running back in the nation. Regardless of role, regardless of team, regardless of anything, he's the best running back in the nation. And he is the number one running back in Notre Dame that they know they want to run, and they're going to have a young quarterback that they're breaking in. They're going to have to run. They're giving it to Jeremiah Love. The guy taken after him, Isaac Brown, is diminutive, and he has Duke Watson behind him. I don't feel particularly good about that at all. And it's pronounced DeRuzier. DeRuzier. Not DeRozier. DeRuzier. Again, I've watched a ton of that backfield, and I like Sutton Smith over DeRuzier. So there we go. Me and my boy Willie B and the CFF list guy, we're battling. We're battling it out there on that.
Malachi Fields.
Malachi Fields. I'm not convinced.
That's a good one right now.
That's not a good one. Malachi Fields. Under 550. No, I'm serious. I took him under 550.5 receiving yards. That's an unsettled room. Jaden Greathouse is better than him. You got Will Pauling who's drawing raves out of camp, and you have an unsettled QB situation. Good luck with that, CFF lists.
Well, I think we're going to finish with the mic drop here with Froton. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Eric.
The absolute top of the class in the business, man. This is fantastic. Cheers.
Later, boys.
Cheers.
And maybe no better transition than to roll right into Josh here, man. Already shaking his head.
How am I supposed to follow that up? I got to deal with that guy every week.
John
Love knows what it's like to share a show with that guy. Oh, the guns! Woo!
Well, I have to say, Josh, if there's anyone who's frustrated me more today, it is you. I'm looking at your quarterback room. I cannot believe three of my favorite sleepers, Marcel Reed, Jackson Arnold, and Fernando Mendoza. Josh be taking them all on me. Tell us why you went to – what do you like about those three? Because I love them. I think they're undervalued. So tell us why you love them.
I mean, because you love them, my friend.
Oh, well, that's – I know you have your own analysis.
How can I go wrong when I got you? I just think the way that you win, there's a few ways to win CFF, but one of them is post-hype sleepers. And I've watched Bainbridge do this over the last couple of years with drafting guys like Cade Klubnik late. And I think like a Jackson Arnold is a classic post-hype sleeper. He's got a great wide receiver room, great setup there. He can run the ball. But 6-point passing touchdown, we know you can sling the rock too. Can't get worse than the offensive line that he had at Oklahoma. So
can't get worse.
So, I think the combination of all those things, I think makes him a great pick, in the 11th round or 12th round where I took him. And then Mendoza, like who's better than Kurt Signetti? I mean, he made Todd Sandeo look really good. And that guy was the biggest bust of all time. So, I think, and Mendoza is probably one of the safest quarterbacks, I think, in this draft. So 6-point passing touchdown, which I just found out about 5 rounds in. I'm glad I was fading quarterback because it led to me getting Mendoza that late.
Well, I'm a huge Mendoza guy, and I agree with you. I'm all in on Kurt Signetti. I don't understand why maybe it's just because it's Indiana. Like I try to think about it like if Signetti's at another school with more of a name, like I feel like everyone would be in on them, but because it's Indiana, people are ignoring. And now, if you're a Devi guy, and I've already been looking at quarterbacks, I got my rankings. Fernando Mendoza's good. Like he is a really good thrower of the football. And I love Elijah Serrato. I love it there. And a 6-point pass and touchdown. I think he throws 32 touchdowns easy. I mean, I just don't. If he's healthy, right? We always have to. But I think it's. And I agree with you. The post hype sleeper. Now tell us about Marcel Reed, because I think he is a fantasy winner if he hits. What do you love about Reed?
Yeah, I mean, you just look at last year. I'm always surprised. There's certain guys that are much better than you remember them being, and it's like you just look at the beginning of his year. Like when he first started, he had 33 points, 28 points, 25 points, and then he ends the year with 32, 36, and 40. I mean, look, those are the type of numbers that you want, and those are the weeks that really, they win you fantasy football weeks. So, I love Marcel Reed. I think that he's only going to be better with guys like Casey Concepcion, Terry Bussey, Mario Craver. I think those are all the type of wide receivers that are going to make him look good, the run after catch guys, right? And so I don't know. I think the floor is high and the risk is pretty low with a guy like that.
I could agree with you more, and Matt's coming up, so I'll talk a little bit, and then I'll double draft pick here. I also think Le'Veon Moss helps Reed because he gets first downs, he pounds the ball, keeps the linebackers close. I really do think Reed is the CFF award winner. If he hits for like 900 yards rushing and double-digit touchdowns, which is more than reasonable, and what I've seen out of camp, he's throwing the ball. I don't know if you've seen it, Josh. I know you're on X a lot. He looks really good throwing the ball. I know it's camp. I get that. But I liked him before camp, and maybe it's confirmation bias, but it looks like he's improved, and I think they're a surprise team. I love Reed. So tell us about your quadruple running back build. I know you went wide receiver, but then you pounded the running back position. How come you went with 4 straight there?
Yeah, I just think the running back position more than any other gets question marks really quickly for me. So I just wanted to solidify that. I like the slot receivers that you can get with value, especially in a PPR format like this. So getting Messer right early on, who's going to get a ton of targets, and then Caden Lee, who's best friends with Austin Simmons, felt really comfortable with both those guys in this PPR format. So load up on running back and see what happens.
Now, you would be inclined to play the 2 running backs in your flex position if they're all available? Is that what you would normally do? You think play? I know we have buys coming up, but if you could start all 4, would you probably put them into the 2 flex?
I totally would. I just find that the running back, there's less volatility, right? And their points per game and on a week-to-week basis. And so I like to have the 4 running backs, even in the full PPR format.
So Matt's back up because I made my 2 picks, but I'll come back later. So Josh, tell us in the middle round.
I should have gone Great House at the front of the turn.
I've had him in the queue, and Fro Tom mentioned him, so I said I can't wait 26. I like him a little bit. Don't love him, but I like him, and I usually get either Fields or Great House. So tell us what you're doing as the draft advances, because I love your last 3 wide receivers are really interesting. Tell us about, you got Gill there, Gilmore, and Dwyer. Tell us what you were thinking. You got your 2 PPR monsters. So what are you thinking about those wide receivers later in the draft?
Yeah, I mean, look, that Syracuse, we know what Syracuse did last year, right? I mean, they pretty much led the country in receiving, and replacing a lot of production there. Gill's the guy that's coming back with the most returning production. So I like him a lot. And then Gilmer, we talked about Kurt Signetti and his offense. Well, Tino Sinceri, the QB coach, who's been with all of those quarterbacks that we talked about before with Signetti, he's the OC there at UCLA. And so, systems are a big part of CFF success. And so Gilmer's the guy right now in camp. I mean, he's a guy that I know Bainbridge hates me for taking Gilmer, but he's the guy that has been consistent through spring and fall as who's standing out. And then Dwyer, I mean, look, Kendall Brow's offense, again, another place, replacing a lot of production. And I think it's closer between McAllister and Dwyer than people are giving it credit for. It's a thing that our team at Fantasy Points has been researching TCU a lot. And we come away really liking Dwyer every time we see reports.
So we have a live pick for Josh. Josh, tell us what you're thinking for the viewers, because this is a very important part of the draft. Folks, there's still players on the board, especially in CFF. You have bigger rosters. We have more teams. It's not like the NFL when you get to round 17. College fantasy football, tell us what you're thinking this late now, because you have all your starters and you have some backups. What are you looking to build when you're this late?
Well, like you talked about, I went 4 running backs really early. And so I don't think I need a bunch more. So I'm going to load up at the wide receivers at the end, since I punted that a little bit. And then I'm going to get a QB here. And so here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock down what I think is the top 2 wide receivers at Syracuse. And I'm going to go Jonte Cook. I mean, he's a guy that he's got a lot of question marks, right? But talent is not one of them.
It's round 17.
Yeah. And look, like between him and Gill, I think one of them will be the wide receiver one there. And so I just want to get that. And look, to win your leagues, the other thing that you have to do, you have to churn the waiver wire, right? You have to get the top picks. So if Cook's not the guy, he's one of my last picks of this draft. I'm shooting for upside. If it doesn't work out, I'm just going to hit the waiver wire, and he'll be one of my first drops.
Yeah, and you know what? I would think one of these wide receivers for the Orange are going to hit. So if we're in college football, when you have so much turnover, but we got the same coaching staff, right? We know this system, and I think their schedule's kind of tough, so they should be throwing the ball a lot. So one of those 2 guys will probably lead the Orange pass catchers. So I think that's a really good strategy for viewers to understand. Like, college is different in the NFL. You can take a little risk in it. If one of the guys doesn't, you just cut them and find another player. So I love that. I think that's a smart idea for our viewers.
And Josh, we are closing up on our time together here. So just want to make sure folks know where they can find your weekly work, because you're putting out some really fantastic content.
Oh, thanks, Matt. Yeah, everything I got is over at Fantasy Points. You can find me at CFF Guys on X. And look, I've loved the team that we got. We just got Elliott Mays on the team this offseason. Man, he's an up-and-comer in this game, and I'm really enjoyed working with him. So it's been a ton of fun having him and Zach Hall. Bainbridge writes our prop stuff, and Froton, he helps out with the podcast, as you guys can clearly see from the segment before. So, those guns, they bring all the ladies to the show. So, we're excited to have him too. So thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming, Josh.
Thanks for coming on. Love what they're building over at College Fantasy Points. Some really awesome content, some really awesome people. Speaking of awesome people, let's bring on Steve here from RotoWire. Steve, I know we're in the depths of the draft here, but this is where you start to get some really good, juicy insights here. So thanks for joining us in round 17 into 18.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm having fun. I love how the draft is coming to me so far.
So you're picking from the 5 hole, right? That's kind of a tricky spot to be in. Yeah, Are you happy with the start? And then
no, he's a 3 hole. Matt, he's a 3 hole. That's the other Chris.
Sorry, 3 hole.
That's great. No, it's all right.
Scrolling back and forth here.
Yeah.
So talk to us about that start and build.
I felt great about being in the 3rd spot because I really wanted to get Bryson Washington. I feel so good about the Baylor offense this year. In fact, when I got to, where were we at? When I started thinking about quarterbacks, I certainly was thinking about taking Robertson there too. Ended up going with McCown. I was going back and forth between the 2. And then I was thinking maybe I'll just take both of them. And then you went ahead and took Robertson. So you took that strategy away, but I'm feeling good still.
So tell us about your quarterback build, Steve. I know this is super flex, 6-point passing touchdown. So what were you thinking in this when you were thinking beforehand? I mean, if you're like most of us, we strategize, we think about where we want to go. What were you thinking about the quarterback build before the draft, and how did it turn out for you?
Yeah, I was just feeling like there are quite a few guys that I would be comfortable with, like going. I figured around the 5th, 6th round is when I'd end up drafting, my first quarterback, and so it ended up working out perfectly. Where I had, like I said, 2 quarterbacks that I was happy with taking as my top guy, and then from there, let's see what. So I ended up with Hauser as my second choice, which I feel good about that. He had a really strong stretch where he can show like what his peak value could be. Had a good 3-game stretch with almost 900 yards, 13 touchdowns. Hopefully you can get something close to that. I've got a lot of guys who have offensive coordinators who are in their second year. So like I'm hoping that's strategically there. They've got their system in place now. Second year already had, their guys already put up good stats last year. They're going to be even better now that it's the second year in the system.
So you're going live. We'll let you we'll let you take a
pick. Yeah.
Okay.
And if you guys don't know, Steve works for RotoWire, and they have some great projections. So when Steve gets back here after his pick, I want to know what his projections, because you are the first person that I've ever been sniped on Cam Edwards. So I want to know what the RotoWire team, what the RotoWire team is saying about Cam Edwards in that UConn running game, and why you sniped my last round draft pick from the University of Connecticut. But who are you thinking about taking in this round, my good friend?
I'm looking at guys that I think could get good volume. So I'm going to take Victor Snow as top receiver at Buffalo. I know, there's a new quarterback there, so you never know. I usually like to go with where you've got continuity with, the same coaches, the same quarterback, but I think, they're going to rely on the run mostly, but taking their number 1 receiver at this point is worth a shot.
Excellent. And what about Cam Edwards? Do you guys like him at RotoWire in your projections?
We do, yeah. We've got him at running back 37. So about
even higher than me. That's a meaty ranking, and I like him.
yeah. So we've got.
What do they say? Did they have him over 1,000 yards?
Not quite. Well, overall, when you add in receiving yards too, we've got him at 877 rushing, and 134 receiving. So right around 1,000 total yards.
Excellent. And I'm on the deck, so Matt will ask the next question while I take.
We have to know, Steve, you're drafting right after both of us. John mentioned you got the snipe on Cam Edwards. Did we get anybody you wanted? He's like, nah, garbage picks.
Well, no, I mean, going back to yeah, when you took Robertson, I was at that point just going to go back-to-back quarterbacks there. And then, I mean, John did get me back. I took his UConn guy. He took my Wisconsin guy. So I think we're even now.
There you go.
I do think Dupree's been getting really good reports, right? Am I correct on what do you think? Because Steve's got a Ron Dane jersey. It's the best on. Yeah. And so what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think I don't know, maybe I guess Dylan Jones is the one who's getting more of the hype, but it's probably closer than what the average draft position is showing right now. So I've definitely been taking Dupree in drafts late, like you took him there, because I think it'll be a close battle there. And I just, as a Wisconsin fan, I love that we're talking about getting back to Wisconsin football and running the ball instead of just like lining up in shotgun on every play. I'm not even going to get started because it's just too frustrating. But when you're on the goal line and you're lining up in shotgun, Wisconsin football is give it to the fullback and he'll get you the 1 yard.
I mean, we all know as college fans, if that Wisconsin back hits, right? If you get the guy with the 250 to 300 carries, and as long as I expect the offensive line to be good again. I don't know if it'll be like all worldly like it used to be, but that line should be good. We know you're going to get fantasy gold. It's just, I think all year we've been wondering who's going to be that guy. And I've been noticing lately, it seems like Dupree's getting the positive reports. I mean, it's just what I've seen. I figure in round, what are we, round 17, I'll take the shot there.
Absolutely. I love the value there.
So what was your tight end strategy? Because I think you went pretty, am I incorrect? Didn't you go you went Lautner in round 7 and then Dorian Fleming. Tell us about your tight end strategy in this league.
Yeah, Lauder, he's a guy that I had my eye on. We have him as our third ranked tight end at RotoWire. And I mean, I love the fact that there's some, big game opportunities there. I mean, he had 3 games with over 90 yards, 5 games with at least 60 yards. So, I mean, there are some tight ends where you're just going to take a 0 some weeks. And I think with him, you're going to get some consistency plus some of those spike weeks too. And then going back to, well, let's see. And Fleming, and I'm on the clock right now. So
you are
we'll
on the
let
clock.
Steve make his pick, and then I think, Steve, after you make this pick, we'll wrap up our time together here because we are nearing the end of the draft, and we do still have more folks to talk with here. Yeah. I know it's round 19. That was I think I maybe should have added another quarterback there, but that's all right. We'll roll with 4. It snuck up on me. Round 19 snuck up on me. But Steve,
it snuck up on me too.
John mentioned your work on RotoWire, right? That's where we can find you.
That's right, yeah. And yeah, I'm not like you guys. I'm not all in on the college fantasy football. I dabble in a little bit of everything. I love to gamble on everything. I love to play fantasy everything. But yeah, this is the best time of year. I'm just so excited. Plus I'm an avid bowler. Bowling is my number 1 sport, really. So
nice.
Bowling season is coming too. So bowling, college football, NFL, it's the best time of year.
This is a question that I don't know the answer to. Is there anyone who does betting on bowling? Like, can you bet or DFS on bowling? Does that exist?
Yes, I'm the guy to ask about that.
Oh, awesome, dude. That's cool.
So yeah, Bet Rivers Casino is the only one that offers bowling betting.
Okay.
At least online. I know I live in the Milwaukee area. At our local casino, you can bet on bowling too. I might have had some influence on that. I emailed them a few times saying you should offer this. But yeah, I think I'm the only person in the world who writes bowling betting articles. So during the PBA season, you can find my work with that on RotoWire as well. In addition to
that's awesome.
19, you weren't expecting to get that chatter here. I respect it though, Steve. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. We're bringing on Chris here. Chris, round 19.
We made it, Chris. Sorry about
made it. No, it's all good. No need to apologize. Thanks for having me on, fellas.
Talk to us, man. We're reflecting now. How do we feel? You got the full roster.
Yeah, full team. I think I kind of hit all the players that I wanted to draft or wanted to wait on tight end. So that was a great success. Overall, I think I got a great foundation heading into 2025.
Well, talk to us about that tight end. Didn't get one until round 18. You double tapped at the end there with Klein and Kent. You said you wanted to do that.
Yep. If one of these premier guys came to me at a great value, I probably would have jumped up and grabbed them. But all year and through all my drafts, I've been comfortable waiting on the position. I got a tight end from Michigan in Marlon Klein. We know how they like to treat their tight ends and their offenses, either the first or second read most of the time. So I don't hate that spot. And then Carson Kent's a guy I've been high on all off season, and the camp talk from him is that he's going to be a focal point of this passing attack. So coming from Kennesaw State to Oklahoma, he's getting a drastic improvement at quarterback. So I'm excited for the 2 that I snagged.
So tell us, Chris, what was your strategy going in? Because, it's a 14-team league.
Yep.
What were you thinking, first round? Were you looking for best player? Were you going position? What were you thinking? Because it seems like a long time ago, but tell us how Chris's mind works when he's building a roster in CFF.
Yeah, well, a lot of it is take what the board gives you. My mind at the beginning was telling me Jordan Tyson, you're going to get Jordan Tyson. He's one pick away, Jordan Tyson. And then Shane just absolutely broke my heart. I had to pivot from Jordan Tyson. The back end of the draft season for me, I've kind of liked fading running backs a bit early and going a little bit more wide receiver heavy because I've liked the running backs in the middle pocket of the draft that I've been able to build around my wide receiver room. But a guy like Darius Taylor and Caden Durham out of LSU in Minnesota, I just couldn't pass up on the potential volume that those guys could see.
That's awesome. So when did you take your first quarterback? Because there's 14 teams. I don't remember.
It was round 8. I took Bryson Barnes.
Oh, you were one of the late quarterback drafters.
Yeah.
Barnes
So
got
who
a
did we
shout-out.
get
Somebody
then?
really liked that. One of the viewers really liked that Barnes pick.
Yeah, I think Bryson Barnes is like if he hits right with his legs and he improves his passing. My question with Barnes has always been his throwing. How good is he going to be thrown? But he definitely has the legs and hit the system. So obviously, you feel like he's going to hit his ceiling. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, you're correct on that. I feel like he's going to hit his ceiling this year at Utah State, and right where I got him, I think it's a perfect spot for him. Fantrax is projecting 30 points per week player. I don't know if I got him that high, but considering how long I waited to take a quarterback, ending up with him, Sorsby, Miller Moss, and Taylor Green, I think is a great little pocket for me in that quarterback room.
Yeah, I love Sorsby too with that value. I mean, high-end legs, you got, and we know in CFF, if you hit that running back with 750 yards rushing and you get the double-digit touchdowns, that just literally changes everything.
Yeah, it does. Excited for it. Then I got his number one pass catching option, a guy I've been high on all year, Jeff Caldwell. I might have reached for him a little bit early. Him and Middlebrook are just two guys that I love going into the season. So being able to snag all guys that I'm high on, not get sniped. I mean, it might have been a bit of a reach, but I'm having fun with it.
Folks, let us know here as we're recapping. We're getting some votes for favorite team. Dwight's got some love. Froton's got some love. Nobody's voted for me yet. That's fine. I'm sure they'll come.
My vote's for you, man.
Oh, there we go. Thank you. I appreciate that. You're just trying to get an earlier position next year. I got you. I just had a guy I wanted to ask you about here.
Yeah.
Eric Singleton, round 11. Of course, I took his teammate Cam Coleman a bit earlier, but man, from an NFL draft perspective, one of my favorite guys to watch this offseason. And I do think the production's going to be there in this offense.
Yeah, especially as the field stretching option for Auburn. I like what he's going to bring to the table. Jackson Arnold, who Josh talked about a little bit earlier, could be taking a step forward. So just to fill out my wide receiver room, give me a little bit of depth. I like the position I was able to draft Eric Singleton there with my wide receiver room being a little bit heavy at the top of my draft and then waiting a bit, being able to grab Singleton, Caldwell, and then Reed Harris a little bit later. I like how I kind of rounded things out.
Yeah, Reed Harris is an interesting one for me. I think we think about the Boston College offense as so stale, but there's a lot of potential with Lonergan in the offense this year, with the BOB system. There's an opportunity for there to be, a legitimate maybe not multi-touchdown wide receiver, but pushing there.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you look at when Boston College pivoted from Castellanos to the more pocket present quarterback last season, Reed Harris was the beneficiary of most of those targets. Downfield, mid-range. He was the wide receiver one for them through that period. And going through all these best ball drafts throughout the offseason, we've seen Lewis Bond go ahead Reed Harris, and I'm comfortable just sitting and picking Reed Harris a little bit later, because going into the season, like you mentioned, with BOB and the more pocket present quarterback, I think Reed Harris could have a tremendous year and smash his ADP.
That's fantastic. That's great. I love that. John, anybody else you want to identify here from Chris' draft?
No, I thought Chris did very well. I mean, for waiting on the tight end, that would always a little bit scare me. But look, if if one of those two tight ends gets you 8 to 10 points a week, I think you're going to be all right because you're so strong at the other positions. I think there's a lot of risk, but let's see. And you're right about the program. Michigan, if they throw to him, then you're okay.
Yep. And then we got waivers, right? Tight ends, one of
Yes,
those
of
positions
course.
that you can really take advantage of first couple weeks in the season to see how some of these other guys are being used, possible injuries. So it's not a position there was no Harold Fannin this year. There was no big time tight end. I was like, okay, I'm reaching for this guy. Kenyon Sadiq might be that guy, and there might be some other guys down the pipeline, but there was nobody that I was willing to really just reach up and grab.
Awesome. Chris, thanks so much for coming on to chat. We do have a few more folks we're going to talk about in the recap of this draft here, but make sure to let us know where we can find your great work.
Yeah, Fantasy and Frames, fantasyandframes.com, the 1 Foot Down college fantasy football podcast. We are live this Monday, breaking down my guys heading into 2025, where I'll be talking a lot about some of these guys that I drafted. We may even touch on this Kings Classic draft to see some of the teams that we like, some of the picks we don't like, some of the great values. So yeah, at FFChrisP on X and at Fantasy and Frames for all the other content.
Be gentle on me, Chris, when you grade my team.
Always, John. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, gentlemen.
All right. Do we got the mic working?
Do you guys hear me?
Me? We can hear you, Mike.
We can hear you, Mike.
Nice to see you.
Mike Bainbridge from the CFF site. We're going to do some recapping here.
Can we start with this? I love what you guys do, but we got a couple of rule changes for next year I think we need to make.
Okay.
One, we need to close with Froton every single year because he just brings the energy. It's a great way to end the live stream. Two, John, you made a mistake here that I've made in previous seasons.
Oh, no. What did I do?
You drafted 5 quarterbacks. You are going to have to drop one of them. We are only allowed 4 quarterbacks in the roster. And
I feel better now.
I'm
not drafting that 19th round quarterback.
And then I think I think everybody wants to keep drafting. Maybe we make this 20 rounds, 21 rounds, because
I like that idea.
Still on the board here.
Oh, so I technically have an illegal roster right now.
You do. Maybe somebody gets injured at quarterback, and you could just put them on the IR. But yeah, you're gonna have to drop one.
I'll do that. I didn't even think. That's the hardest part. There you go. Right. I didn't even look at the roster requirements on the rules, or I forgot. And there I am drafting live, so I totally made a mistake on that one. Sorry about that. I'll do that.
They're calling for 25 rounds next year, John.
There we go.
Here we go. 2 hours isn't enough, and I absolutely love it. Well, Mike, I'd love to do some kind of. Oh, we lost Mike. Not going to get to do any rapid fire with Mike. Oh. Let's see if we get him back here. Maybe. Well, let's go ahead. We're going to let Mike get his tech sorted out here. And we're going to bring on Joe. Joe, very patient, waiting all the way through the end with us. I'm hoping we could do some rapid recap. I want to talk about your team. We're going in and out.
I was blurry, so I reset my camera. Sorry about that, man.
Well, yeah, you
now we got your beautiful face, Mike, with the beard and everything.
I have not had any issues at all throughout the entire offseason, whether it's CFF site or Fantasy Points doing podcasts. And of course, on our live stream, we have issues. So I apologize, my friends.
It's all good, brother.
Mike, I would love to do a little lightning round. Maybe we can go back and forth with you and John here. Just like real quick, high level. We'll skip the first couple rounds, but looking at like 3rd round on, I would love to identify just your favorite pick, in that range. Again, we'll just kind of go a little lightning roundy, but, starting 3rd round, who jumps out to you?
I really like some of these safe running backs in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, like you said, because I think there is a drop off. Once you get past 7 and 8 rounds. So like an Emmett Johnson, I think he is solidified RB1 there at Nebraska. So I think that's a really good pick. He's going to offer some PPR influence just because of what he did in the last 4 games last year. Chip Trayanum in the 5th round, I know you guys, I don't think are particularly high on him.
We're a little low.
But 5th round, like he was going in the 3rd and 2nd round in some other drafts. So I don't think you can complain in the 5th round. And then just real quick, my Kentrell Bullock pick in the 5th round, I think he fits that Emmett Johnson mold of like, he is the guy this year, probably not going to split with anybody there. So just getting those safe, high floor running backs in that range.
I have a quick question for you, Mike, because I love that you double dipped at the quarterback. I think you've been doing that more than normal this year. I mean, if I'm wrong, tell me, but you seem to be going very high-end quarterbacks. But then what really surprised me is you came back with Josh Hoover for a 3rd quarterback rather early, in my opinion. Tell me what you were thinking as you decided was that first 6 rounds you went 3 quarterbacks. Why did you do that, my friend?
6-point passing touchdowns. You want to solidify that position, I think, in that scoring format. So I like my well-roundedness of the quarterback position. Arch is going to score 20 to 25 points every single week, right? Kevin Jennings, I think he did that last year, right? 20 points every single week. And then you got the high upside guys. Josh Hoover could throw for 4,000 yards, and he gets a boost in 6-point passing touchdowns. And then, Mike Alejado, he's a potential league winner. So you put the potential league winner with the high floor guys like an Arch Manning and Kevin Jennings. I like the well-roundedness of that group.
I love Kevin Jennings. He was in my queue when you grabbed him. I thought that was great. That was at round 10. So I think that's great in a 6-point passing touchdown.
I like that. I like your round 4 Corey Rucker. That's been a big guy for me that I've been trying to get as much as I could. I think I was scrolling, maybe round 5 or 6. I was scrolling and I couldn't find him. I didn't even see him come off the board. That was a tough one.
Yeah, I was looking back at last year, and just a strategy that worked for me and potentially some others is get that kind of solidified wide receiver 1 on your roster, and then you can kind of punt it just a little bit, right? Not to wait till the last few rounds, but in the middle rounds, I got Nick Senecal, and then I kind of waited right until the back end, nabbing that the Western Kentucky duo. They're going to throw 5,000 passes this year, so hopefully I get the wide receiver 1 there. And I really like Chris Marshall in the last round there because he's getting, former 5-star, getting a lot of hype out of Boise State. So just something that I thought worked in these like PPR redraft. Get your solidified wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, and then you can kind of wait till the back end.
So can you tell me why you waited on the tight end with Lofton and then Roush? Tell us why you felt comfortable waiting, and why did you like those 2? Why did you identify them late?
Just a strategy that I used last year, and it did work out. Last year I got Colston Loveland in 11th round, and then I lucked out, got Tyler Warren in the 16th round here. So that's why I did well. But if you don't get that Sadiq, John Michael Gillenborg in the top ends, like I felt like I could wait just a little bit, and then Elijah Lofton fell to me in the 12th round. So he could be a potential cheat code, maybe if they get some carries to him. Question marks at the wide receiver position. So if you don't get those top guys how I've drafted this year, then you can kind of just wait a little bit and see who falls.
And I think you did something that for new CFF people, you're very good at the G5. I love your running backs at the G5 level, and there might be viewers right now where they're playing the underdog tournaments, Power 4. Tell us what you're thinking, because you really usually uncover some gems here. Tell us about your G5 running backs that you identified here.
Yeah, I didn't plan on drafting Alge Henderson, but the thing with him, like we obviously know how he killed it second half of last season, but his schedule is beautiful this year. Outside of the opener against Minnesota,
it's unbelievable.
There's nothing threatening there. And
nothing.
Who's to say he can't get 70 yards and a touchdown against Minnesota, right? Like that's not out of the realm of possibility. So you can start him every single week. Kind of covered Bullock. I heard you guys talking about the Wisconsin backfield. Like Dylan Jones they're both getting pub, but Dylan Jones has been getting the most pub of the 2. So, feel comfortable with him. And then just kind of round it out. OJ Arnold is probably my top sleeper this year. We were drafting Jalen White in rounds 4 and 5 last year. I think OJ Arnold can at least match his production this year, and you can get him in double-digit rounds. So just a couple guys that I really like there that are guaranteed volume, in my opinion.
And how about Scotty Humphrey? What do you think about him? Because you took him before OJ Howard there.
Yeah,
Arnold.
A little conflicted with him. I know other people like him a bit more, but kind of an upside pick, right? The coaches and staff raves about him all the time. There could be a committee there, but I think they're going to run the ball just a ton on that offense. So just kind of an upside pick there. And yeah, we'll see how it works out.
And I think, Mike, didn't you have the best record in the league last year? Like, your team rocked, right?
I was tied with Jared. He beat me at the points, but yeah. And so I tried to employ that same strategy, like get some good QBs early, lock up some solid running backs, and then kind of get your wide receivers on the back end.
And, you know, little side note for our viewers, no team that has finished the top of the regular season standings has won the title in the playoffs. I don't know if it's a jinx, what's happening here, but sometimes getting lucky in CFF, right, in that playoff run matters, because Mike's team was great. I mean, geez, having Warren late in the draft is just spectacular.
Yeah, that was super. And then I picked up Eric Rivers on waivers. And I think that's the thing that people, you know, we love best ball, but man, waivers is the arguably top 2 most important thing to do in college fantasy and in redraft formats. You're going to find league winners on waivers because, you know, our projections, our rankings, they're not perfect every year, right? And you're going to find those hidden gems every year.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's huge. I think I got Horvath off waivers last year, and I drafted him in the 2nd round this year. You know, it's absolutely critical part of the game.
Absolutely. Yep. Top 2.
So looking here, the last guy that I want to point out here as we work towards closing here, I like Smith out of ECU. I think that's a really nice 16th round guy. You know, it's hard for me to draft in this because I can't build a queue because everybody can see the queue. But if I did, he would have been in my queue from the early part of the draft here. So what about him in the 16th round pops out for you?
Yeah, just kind of fell too far. I think we know that ECU is going to throw the ball a ton with Caden Hauser. And, you know, we all kind of assume it's, you know, Yannick Smith is a wide receiver 1 there. Like, are we sure that's going to be the case? You know, he's very talented, but, you know, I think easily Anthony Smith could end up as that wide receiver 1 there. And even if he's wide receiver 2, I think they could, you know, both achieve 80 to 100 targets this year just because of the pure volume with the ECU passing game.
Yeah, that's it for me. Like, he doesn't have to be wide receiver 1 to still be a really nice wide receiver play for you. And, you know, those guys are important. They're going to be filling up your flex spots as bye weeks fill up, right? That's the thing about college fantasy. Bye weeks hit you twice as hard, right, compared to playing NFL fantasy football.
And that's you. John asked why I drafted a 3rd quarterback super early, because my top 2 have the same bye weeks.
There you go.
I have the same problem. The top 2 have the same bye week, so yeah, that hurts.
Work around.
So tell us about what you and Joe got going on at the CFF site, which is, I think it might be the oldest. I don't mean it in any, like, I think you guys have been around the longest now, the CFF site, that I can remember. I could be wrong, but tell us what you guys got going on for the rest of the summer.
Yeah, I had hair when we first started.
That's from working with Joe, brother.
I know. Joe's still in tip-top shape, and he's got a full head of hair for how long he's been doing it, too. But, yeah, I mean, honestly, it's same old, right? We got the CFF site guide. We got the projections every single year, both preseason and in season. If you're really into props, which are coming out now, Underdog, and it's now out on Bet Rivers, props are up. So that really helps there. And you know, rankings, projections, podcasts, we got it all. So make sure to check out the CFF site this season if you haven't already.
Yeah, I think I say it each year, but the CFF guy dropping, that feels like the official start of the CFF season. And the weekly content, I mean, I know how much time goes into putting, you know, that many words together. And I mean, I don't think I could put together half as many words per week as you all do. Like, it is just such good analysis. I know it's a huge grind. I respect it a ton, man.
I feel like I wouldn't have gray in my beard and probably still have hair if I didn't do that. But labor of love, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. And it's good work. It's good analysis and good words. And that's what's most important. Well, Mike, thanks for joining us. Thanks for finishing off the draft with us. That's 19 rounds, over 2 hours this year for the Kings Classic. Absolutely fantastic analysis. And if you're watching after the fact, just keep dropping comments, keep asking us about players. We're gonna be, you know, tracking that and answering your questions all the way through. Thanks so much to everybody who has watched all the way through. And we will put the link. The link is in the episode description as well to donate to St. Jude. So please go ahead and do that as well and support that cause.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Mike, for jumping on and being patient.
Yeah, thank you guys for dealing with my tech issues.
All right, let's go out. Let's get those college fantasy football championships this season.